Okay, everybody, conversations are up now. I see you in the back. I'm not going to call out your names. Okay, everybody, welcome to City of Dania Beach. This is the Commission Hybrid Regular Meeting, Tuesday, December 13th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Okay, thank you all. Clerk, can we get started with a roll call, please?
Mayor Ryan,
Here?
Vice Mayor Llewellyn,
Here.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
Commissioner James,
Here.
Commissioner Salvino,
Here.
City Manager Garcia is here, and City Attorney Boots is.
Here.
Okay, everybody fill in here, please. We're going to have a moment of silence. All right, I'd like to call a moment of silence, please. Okay, can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you for all attending. We have presentations and special event approvals, and our first presentation is to our former commissioner. Oh, okay. All right, sorry, we're gonna do that later. For number 2, we're gonna go to Love Our Nation by Commissioner Joyce Davis.
Oh, Xavier. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce you to a wonderful organization that I started working with a couple of years ago, Love Our Nation. They do a lot of great, great work with the patch and learn about healthy eating and healthy living. And we have their um, founder here with us, Miss Overall, and they are going to do a presentation for you. So are we ready, Miss Overall?
Face the audience.
Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Be kind and respectful to everyone that I meet. Just as a professional that I want to inspire to become. Understand that everything begins with me and I accept full responsibility for all of my actions. Every day from the moment I wake up, I'll make healthy food choices in order to take good care of my body. Food is my first priority because knowledge is power. I will always love myself. I will always love myself. Be honest. You treated me the best I can. My system said never give up. I like Love Our Nation, and it's the best school. I feel welcomed in this school. This school helps me to play and sing. I have two friends. Hi, my name is Aaron. I'm going to talk about the patch. The patch got fruit, plants, all type veggies, and yummy fruits that I love to eat. I love the patch. At the table is my favorite place to make new friends and to get help with my homework. Thank you.
I love the patch. I love to play in the patch, and the patch is the best place I've ever been. Thank you. Hi, my name is Corey Miller. I've been in Love Our Nation for 2 weeks. The patch, the patch I love the most. I love the patch because I can eat veggies, and we have a lot of veggies there. Every time people help me with my homework, I'm talking about Miss Overall and um, Miss Michelle. Miss Michelle, I want to thank you for helping me with my homework, and Miss Overall, thank you. Hello, people. My name is Tristan, and I'm talking about my golf experience. There's only three things that you need to know about golf: putting, driving competitions, and practice hitting around the course. For putting, it's not easy or hard. What you need to do is hit the ball gently, but not too gently. For driving competitions, I have my whole after school program named Love Our Nation. We all hit the ball. My coach named Coach Anthony. See who hit the furthest out of the Love Our Nation program. After the driving competition, we get a prize. The prize is money. I'm shocked that we get money. But yeah, I'm shocked that we get money. The prices that we the amount of money that we get is $5, $10, and $20. That is a lot. His bank account run must be running. Now I'm on to my last thing that you need to learn about golf. Practice hitting around the golf course. One day on a Saturday, we hit around a whole golf course. Each golf course is a par. I don't even know how much I did, but I know that it was a lot. And I'm thankful that I have this program to help me with golf and teach me better about golf and a lot of things because we go to the patch, we grow vegetables, we plant, and we do a lot. And I'm also thankful for our tutors named Miss Michelle and some older ones that's here that help the younger ones with the our homework, including me. I'm thankful for this program and thank you.
Hi, my name is Noah Buchanan, and I'm going to be talking about what we do at Suncrete and Union Bank in Love Our Nation. At Love Our Nation, we go to a bank called Suncrete and Union where we deposit money we get from Love Our Nation and put it in our bank accounts. We go once a month and deposit the money we get from golf or home. I have been going to Suncrete and Union for a few years with Love Our Nation. I was at Love Our Nation when I was 9. I made myself a bank account from Sun Credit Union. Last month, I won a golf tournament and got $20. I deposited $20 into my bank account. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Darrell, and today I will be talking about some of the core values in golf. We used to go to Eco Golf Course, but we switched to Hollywood Golf Course. The first core value is honesty. We are honest to everyone we know. The second core value is integrity. Integrity means being honest and having strong moral principles. The third core value is sportsmanship. We show sportsmanship by giving respect to each other. The fourth core value is respect. We have a moral in golf, and it goes like this: respect us, respect ourselves, respect each other, and respect our surroundings. The fifth core value is confidence. We feel confident in ourselves and others when playing golf. The sixth core value is responsibility. We are responsible. We are responsible for our equipment and our golf courses.
Good evening. My name is Asila Davy. I go to Hollandale High School and I'm in the 10th grade. I have a job with FIU tutoring students at my school known as the Young People's Project, in which the students take the initiative to teach their peers. I volunteer at Love Our Nation to help tutor these wonderful children on certain days. Love Our Nation is a program dedicated to the growth of young minds. This program means a lot to me because it has helped me get me where I am now. It has introduced me to so many opportunities that I would have not gotten without it, like the opportunity to stand in front of you all today. I learned how to play golf because of this program, which is something I thought I would never do, and I've grown to love it so very much. And I appreciate the people that makes it happen, like the partners of Love Our Nation. And special thanks to Miss Overall and Miss Michelle. We appreciate everything you do for this program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jalen, and today I will be talking about a program partnered with Love Our Nation called Flippany. Flippany is a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving lives in South Florida communities. In Flippany, there is a children activity called Chefs Up Front, and this is when the children help make snacks for different auctions. When we went to Chefs Up Front, we were able to make buffalo cauliflower and green bean guacamole. With experiencing making something new, I now feel more comfortable in the kitchen. Thank you, Flippany, and Love Our Nation for everything you do. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jayla, and today I'm going to be talking about Developing Dreams. Developing Dreams is a program that provides singing teachers and creative writing teachers. Our singing teacher is Miss Chantel. Miss Chantel taught us the song A Million Dreams, which we are going to be singing on Sunday. Thank you, Mr. Pablo, for providing Miss Chantel to be our singing teacher. And thank you, Miss Chantel, for taking your time out to teach us how to sing. Thank you.
Love Our Nation is a nonprofit program for kids ages 6 to 17. Hi, my name is Rikasia. I've been a part of Love Our Nation for 4 years. I got to be around other kids and experience being around other kids since I'm homeschooled almost all my life. In Love Our Nation, we learn how to garden, eat healthy, play golf, go to Chef in Front for Company, be a part of Developing Dreams, deliver fruits and vegetables to seniors on our bikes, and go to the bank and deposit money into our bank accounts that we get from delivering food. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so very much for your time. I'm Overall Dwyer, co-founder and the executive director of Love Our Nation. I just wanted to show to Dania Beach their most valuable assets, their human resources, these beautiful children. And we really need the support of you in so many ways. If you can tutor, please come and help tutor. We really need transportation to get the children to golf. I pack them all in the back of my truck every Thursday. So we just really need resources. We need help, and we want you to enjoy our students. Thank you.
Yes. Let's give it up for these wonderful kids one more time again. This is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes. Thank you, Miss Overall. Thank you to every one of you guys. I am so happy to see you, Xavier, the twins I've known. These are the kids in the community that I go to church with that have participated in so many different activities. Miss Overall has really spearheaded this wonderful thing with golf and healthy eating and finance. We are building and investing in the next generation of children. So I want to thank them, and I don't know why I'm talking from over here, but I just wanted to let you all see what we have in our community, so that we're appreciating it. We are probably 5 minutes out from our second presentation, so I think the mayor is going to go forth with citizens' comments until our next special guest arrives. So thank you for your patience in the meantime.
I just wanted to comment really fast on Love Our Nation. I've been seeing Miss Overall for years, and when I tell you all, she has those kids disciplined. It's like being on a sports team. I see them running down the street in a row, running to and from. She says she doesn't believe in making them walk. Poor Corey has been here for 2 weeks, and he already has an assignment and a place up here. And what she's done with how very little resources that she has been nothing short of phenomenal. I would like to see her work alongside of our Parks and Recreation, especially when we're talking about transporting and making sure we have, safe spaces and safe transportation for our kids. So I don't know if that's something that you can work with, but I think someone that has shown us that they have skin in the game themselves and have created something from scratch. And with the help of Mr. Leon and his daughter and Michelle and everyone else that has been amazing in the passion teaching, you know, uh, there are food deserts in our communities, and in the vulnerable parts of our communities, we run a high risk of high blood pressure and diabetes and other health related issues, and so teaching them how to cook healthy and to eat off the resources that the earth is providing for us is nothing short of amazing and essential. And at this age, they're also learning about financial literacy. So I just wanted to take this time and thank Miss Overall. She does a lot with a little, and the patience that she has for these kids is something that I don't pray to have, because I couldn't do it, but it's a thankless job, and so thank you, Ms. Overall.
Some of you adult golfers in the crowd could learn some lessons there. Honesty, integrity, sportsmanship, respect, confidence, responsibility is cooking and golf, and dreams, and singing and working. Just wonderful. Cooking for others, eating healthy, establishing bank accounts. I'm all for everything that Mrs. O is doing, and very wonderful, wonderful. So now we'll move on to citizen comments. So for our first citizen comment, I'd like to bring up David Kaplan. Mr. Kaplan, please state your name and address.
Hello, my name is David Kaplan, 111 Southeast 3rd, Unit 106. I'm here to express some concern about the town's requirement for name and address on code compliance issues. I really think it discourages people from sending in and commenting the fact that they have to provide that name and address. I've given you a few photos here. One of them is Southwest First Avenue and Southwest First Court. The parking lot and the dumpster littered with trash. I have gone by there today. This photo was taken last week. It has been cleaned up some, but here again, and I've commented before to the town about the trash behind Three's Company in the alley there. You'll see the picture. I sent some pictures here before about trying to get the trash picked up. Three's Company, as you know, is closed. I'm afraid a number of homeless are living there, which we know isn't against the law, but however, they are generating trash. It's hard to imagine that you're holding the building owner responsible for that, but this trash has been in the alley for some time, needs to be removed. The other photo, excuse me. The other photo I have here is Northeast First Court. It's next to that new building that's going on, but there is a vacant building there on the east side. You can see the dirt has been running into that inlet for quite some time. The alley back behind the abandoned building has had trash strewn on it for quite some time. There's some what looks like coax cable that has fallen down. It's come untied from the lines up above it, so it's coming down and touching the road. I've sent pictures to staff before about Southeast Third Avenue, there by the where the cable is down, and also on Dania Beach Boulevard. I'd appreciate if someone would look into this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplan. Next, I would like to call up Janice Weiss. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Janice. I'm living in 619 Insurance Apartment 206, Dania Beach. I'm living in Dania Beach in the past 26 years and do kayak fishing in the past 10 years. And whether you guys hire somebody at the beach as a security personnel, stopping a kayakers, launching a kayak before sunrise. So I'm not sure what's happening here. We're doing fishing there for a long time. We don't bother nobody. We don't do any problems, no issues with the law enforcement or Coast Guard or lifeguard. So just wondering if you guys could considering about letting us launch the kayak before sunrise. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see why you couldn't launch it before sunrise, but it is an ordinance, and yeah, we'll have to look into that. All right, for my next citizen, I'd like to call up Robert Buzaki. Please come up, state your name and address.
My name is Robert Buzaki. I live at 4201 Grant Street. Good evening. I want to start out by saying thank you for letting me have the opportunity to speak. I also would like to apologize in advance for not looking up from this paper because some people fear spiders. My fear is public speaking. Although I live in Hollywood, I've been going to Dania Beach to kayak fish for over a decade. Over the years, I've seen a number of changes from being able to park at night to pay for parking by the app to the newer lifeguard tower, which is north of the pier, and now a security guard at the beach. Up until recently, kayakers have been able to launch in peace at night to catch bait, come back and pay for parking when the meters turn on, or pay using the app when 6 a.m. rolls around. With this new security guard, that eliminates us kayakers from being able to do anything until sunrise. Because of this, I would like to propose a simple annual kayak launch pass as a solution for this new dilemma. This pass would allow us to launch before the meters or app allows us to pay for parking, but once the meters turn on or the app allows us, we would still have to pay the hourly rates to park there for the day. Essentially, this annual pass would make up for the hour or two before the meters turn on. That way the city makes money and us kayakers can launch in peace again. And given the added comfort of knowing that the city is looking out for us kayakers. Dania Beach has always been one of 4 main launch areas for kayakers, targeting tuna, sailfish, and mahi-mahi in the southeast region of Florida, which draws people in from all around the country. I would hate to see that be taken away due to one security guard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments. Okay, for the next citizen, I would ask Adrian Maruccio Gioza. Please come up, state your name and address. Mr. Gioza. Okay. I would like to call up John Aristi. Please come up and state your name and address. Aristier?
Aristi, yeah, you got it right. Thank you. John Aristi, 909 Citrus Isle, Fort Lauderdale. I took up kayak fishing about 8 years ago, and one of the beginner spots, the best beginner spots, is the beach right adjacent to the Dania Beach Pier. Um, a lot of people learn there because the waves are small. Essential item for successful kayak fishing is to be able to launch prior to sunrise so that you can catch bait. Once the sun comes up, the bait stop biting, and so it makes for a mediocre trip. Just last month, I was participating in an online tournament and showed up and started my usual routine as I've done many times, launching out of Dania. And a security guard stopped me, and it was kind of a mess because I was in a tournament, and so I had to pick up my stuff and go to another beach. I fished early launches all the way from all the way down in the Keys, all the way up to Sebastian. I've never had an issue. Police are usually very polite, courteous, even though technically most of these areas you're not supposed to be on the beach prior to sunrise. Kayaking is a healthy thing. I don't see any reason why we can't make some kind of an exception to the situation that has occurred as a result of this security guard. So thank you for hearing me, and that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Aristi. We appreciate your comments, and we will discuss this matter with the staff. We'll have further discussion on this. For our last resident, I'd like to call up Mrs. Janet McCombs. Ma'am, please state your name and address.
Janet McCombs, 41 Southwest 5th Street, Dania. Thank you for letting me speak. I've called numerous times to the Public Works Department, reporting multiple streetlights out along Federal Highway especially. I drive that road early morning, and it's holidays are coming again, and there are at least 9 lights out that I know from 5th all the way to 1st. So I don't know the solution. I am also in another city working for Public Works, and I am in charge of reporting our streetlights out. So every quarter, FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, sends out an email to all Broward County cities. Our city had 29 lights out, but Dania Beach had 57 in July. I don't know if anyone looks at this email, responds to it, but we're supposed to report and fix those lights within 30 days. So I have a copy of that email if someone would like it. I feel streetlights are very important. It's a safety issue, and people walk the streets, and some streets don't have sidewalks. So we really need to take this seriously and try to rectify using a different vendor possibly. Our city has done that because the vendor we did use was non-responsive, and now we get it done within 30 days. So if anyone would like to reach out to me, I can give you that information, and I'd like to see who would like to have this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, please bring that up. Thank you very much. Is the list. Wonderful.
Happy holiday to all residents included.
Thank you, Ms. McCombs. Okay, now for public safety reports. Sorry. Sorry, Captain. We're ready for the item 2. Well, item 1.
Testing. All right. Good evening, everyone. Come on, Dania Beach. Good evening. All right. We can get some life back into this room. This is really a wonderful, wonderful occasion, and I'm so glad that so many of you came out this evening to celebrate somebody who is so very special to me, to this community, to Dania Beach, and our entire commission. And I just want to start off with just saying sometimes when you lay plans out and you have everything the way you think it's supposed to happen, You guys would not have had the beautiful benefit of seeing the Love Our Nation children had we done the order that we thought. So I'm really glad that the plans did not work out the way I had originally planned, but it worked out the way it's supposed to. I am so thrilled. Dania Beach, you know, we enjoy and we believe in our rich history. We are a city of first. We are Broward's first city, and we appreciate the history. I just had a wonderful holiday party with Dania Beach Historical Society. We are coming up on 120 years as the city, and we love to celebrate our history. And so this past summer, I went to the Florida League of Cities annual conference, and they were celebrating 100 years of the Florida League of Cities. And if you don't know what that means, I'm going to give you a quick snippet, but it's about making sure local voices make local choices. You, as our residents, you elect us to be your voice. And we, in turn, need to fight to make sure that we're representing our communities the way you want us to. And a lot of times we get preempted by the state and they want to tell us what to do with the Airbnbs and the trees and the beach, but it's our voice, it's our beach, it's our homes. And so the Florida League of Cities gives us that platform to do so. And when I found out that our very own Robert Bo Donnelly from Dania Beach was the first and the only commissioner from the city of Dania Beach to ever be the president of the Florida League of Cities. They all put the presidents on a stage like this on the dais, and they all recognize all of the presidents. And when they say Dania Beach, I am just so proud and so happy. And I'm like, go Dania Beach and Go Bo, right? And you will hear more about Go Bo. And it's in two moments. If they were celebrating their 100th anniversary of local voices making local choices. And I was so proud. That was one moment that stood out for me. I said, the entire state of Florida recognizes Bo Donnelly's work as a commissioner, as a leader, not only in the city of Dania Beach, but as in the entire state. The other moment that stood out for me was when the new president of the Florida League of Cities was installed. She had her daughter by her side, and she's a firecracker, if I can say that. Beautiful. And the wonderful thing about that, we have a lot of different diversity in the city and in the state, but she was the first Hispanic woman to serve as the Florida League of Cities president. Let's give it up. Come on, people. We're having good times here. All right. And that was a huge, huge deal. And so I just said, why don't we celebrate? This is my first proclamation, and I want it to be really great, and I want it to be worthy of the people in this community. And I said, I'm going to reach out to her office. I'm going to shoot my shot. I'm going to see if I can make it happen. Maybe I will invite her to come, but maybe she will just write a letter. Maybe we can just have something from the current president to the past president. And so she didn't say, I'll write a letter. She has been in traffic from Port St. Lucie for over so many hours to be here in person to celebrate this amazing man right here. And she is going to give the proclamation to him. So please give a warm Dania Beach welcome to President Vice Mayor Jolene Carballo.
I don't even know how I follow that. I mean, Dania Beach, you are so lucky to have Commissioner Davis. I mean, what a cheerleader and a huge advocate for your community. And so the state better watch out because you're about to go up there and take names, right? You know, it is a privilege and an honor, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you for moving the item. They say when it rains, you are blessed. Commissioner Donnelly, you are truly blessed this evening. It was definitely it was definitely a feat to be, but we're glad to be here safe. I got to thank my navigator, my husband, who got us here safely. The Florida League of Cities is also so important to me, and I think you described it beautifully. But what I like to also say is, as we all know, in Tallahassee, they have many lobbyists. All those lobbyists have their interests. The Florida League of Cities is the interest that represents you, the citizens. And so for that reason, I definitely think that the Florida League of Cities is a powerful force and a powerful tool in our toolbox to be able to protect our citizens and its interests. And I'm very blessed today to be here to recognize one of our previous presidents as president. So it's a huge honor for me to read the proclamation on behalf of the mayor. And it says, whereas public service is a calling and a lifeblood to our democracy, and whereas Robert Bo Donnelly was first elected to Dania Beach City Commission in 1974, served through 1985, and served again in 1992, and whereas Bo Donnelly served in many capacities over those years, including serving as president of the Florida League of Cities from 1981 to 1982, and whereas this year the Florida League of Cities celebrates its 100th anniversary and recognized former presidents, including Bo, at a celebratory event in August 2022 here in Broward County, and whereas Bo Donnelly is the only elected official from the city of Dania Beach to serve as the Florida League of Cities president, and whereas during his lifetime as FLC president, Bo Donnelly teamed up with the president of the county associations to lobby our state government to add a penny sales tax from the 4% to 5%, and to be shared equally with cities and counties. And whereas Bo Donnelly was instrumental in hiring the Florida League of Cities longtime executive director, Mike Sittig, who recently just retired, and whereas serving as the FLC president, Bo Donnelly became the first chairman of the FLC Municipal Trust Pension Fund, which allows smaller cities to get better rates for their pension. The trust currently has 53 members and with 13 more in the process of joining. And whereas the city of Dania Beach is proud to recognize former Commissioner Robert Bo Donnelly for his service on the Dania Beach City Commission and do commend him on his term as president of the Florida League of Cities and for bringing Dania Beach to the statewide prominence. Now, therefore, on behalf of the mayor and the Dania Beach City Commission, I do by here proclaim December 13th, 2022, Robert Bo Donnelly Day. Mr. Donnelly, come forward.
We're not quite done, but we're gonna have a family photo. If Bo's family and the dais want to come down, if our elected officials would please come down and take a photo with Bo.
I will.
Could I please have all eyes on me? I'm going to still the first shots. Thank you very much and
Hold it.
congratulations. Sorry, we have a chair. Yep, there we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, first off, I'm amazed and almost speechless, which is good news for you. uh, this was very surprising. I didn't expect it at all. But so glad to have been here on the commission for 12 years and learned a lot about myself and about my city and about how things work and don't work, and been very encouraging. My family has been so supportive. My wife Mimi and the gang are just put up with 12 years of me running in and out of the house for meetings and getting phone calls at midnight and all that fun stuff. Uh, Florida League is a wonderful organization, and it really deserves our active support. We're the only voice up there to tell the folks in Tallahassee, you don't know Dania like we know Dania. So we really need that voice, and it's great. I understand there's some artwork involved with this celebration, and oh, good, okay, and we have a thank you plaque for our president. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, she's not the president. She's the boss. You bet. We got something else for you too.
Oh, yes.
This is a bottle of the original Dania barbecue sauce. It goes back to the 1920s and 30s when we had tomato days here. And I was fortunate enough to get the recipe from Luther Sparkman, who was our first mayor. Or no, not our first mayor, our first city commissioner or city manager. Okay. So enjoy it.
Okay, this is cool. Like,
Yeah.
this is a way to give. Like, I'm gonna try this really.
Good.
So
Well,
much.
enjoy
I
it.
appreciate it. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet. You bet.
Sure.
Oh, sure.
I want the barbecue sauce in there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
One more.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's give them both a round of applause. I'm sorry, we're almost done. We're almost done. But I had to just say that the thing that I love about these two leaders the most, what I aspire to be, is that they are the two of the most humble leaders that you will ever meet. People who don't want the accolades but deserve them because they put their heads down and get the work done, and that's why we love them, and that's why we continue to vote and elevate them. So thank you both very much. But in the first honor, there, a couple of months ago, there was a piece of artwork that was commissioned that our commission approved. Bo is another humble one who has been on the Creative Arts Council for many, many years before it is now the Public Art Advisory Board. The Public Art Advisory Board, raise your hands or be recognized that they are in here and in support of Bo this evening, because Bo put the first, you've seen those flamingos around the electric boxes. He did the first public art in our city, part of that team that put that together. And so we want to honor him with a special piece of art done by Roshonda Farelli. Raise your hand. And if the team is ready to come up, and they will do an unveiling of it, and this will be in Bo Donnelly's honor. And if we can all just take one more picture, sorry guys. It's my first proclamation. The rest won't be this long, I promise. Let's put it in back of everybody. We're just gonna take a picture in front. Oh, the art will be in City Hall. It's gonna be dedicated to Bo Donnelly as the first and only commissioner from the city of Dania Beach to become a Florida League of Cities president. So let's give it up for Bo's art. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go in front of the artwork. If we could have one photo with the Art and Public Places Board with Bo. Kelly, Lloyd, Kyla, Megan, Joanna. Come. I did run this by the board, even though it's not technically considered public art. They are artists love art no matter what. So we are happy that our art board is here and supportive of this piece of artwork in our city.
All eyes here, if you don't mind. All right, thank you.
Hold it. I'm missing the good-looking gentleman on the end. Good one.
Once you get elected, you get better looking, you get funnier than you've ever been, and smarter than you could ever imagine.
And Bo gets the last word. So listen up, everybody, because I think you might want to pay attention to this announcement.
For those of you that have come tonight to participate in all this, there's going to be a little get together at the Dello, which is right across the street. And there's be a little reception and get together over there. And for those of you on the commission, if you have a quick enough meeting, please join us. Please join us. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Somebody tie up. Shorter guy? I guess maybe that's your position, like always, so they could say I was the president or I am. Yeah, they're gonna move. Oh yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Public Services. Thank you, Candido. Thank you guys for doing what you do. I know they're just working and they don't care, but I appreciate our Public Services team.
I know, yeah. Well, you're.
Yes, congratulations.
Okay, y'all can shuffle out of here. Yeah. Hotel Dello, not too far. We'll see you guys right after. Yeah. Save me a spot. Okay. Okay, public safety reports as soon as Captain Marks is done talking to our former sheriff, Ken Jenny over there. Thank you, Captain Marks.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I want to start by thanking everybody for coming out to our Shredathon. Some stats from it. We had 216 vehicles, 173 people, and we shredded 6,400 pounds worth of documents. So it was long awaited, and hopefully we'll get another event scheduled pretty soon here. We participated in the annual law enforcement parade through the Children's Cancer Center at Joe DiMaggio and Broward Hospital. I'd like to highlight some of the good work our Deputy of the Month did. It's Detective Perez and Murata. They couldn't make it tonight, but I still want to read their commendation. Our units were alerted via an LPR, which is our license plate readers that help us every day that you approve for purchase, of a stolen vehicle traveling northbound on Federal Highway. Detective Perez was in the area and spotted the stolen Infiniti. Detectives Perez and Murata utilized covert surveillance techniques to follow the vehicle until our aviation and K9 units intercepted it. That gives us the time to sit back, and the helicopter can kind of track where it's going and guide us that way. The surveillance took them onto I-95. Once K9 and aviation were in the area, a felony traffic stop was initiated. The vehicle subsequently fled from the detectives. Deputies followed policy and disengaged from the stop. Our aviation unit continued to follow the vehicle into Palm Beach County. A short time later, the suspect and stolen vehicle returned to the city of Dania Beach with aviation still overhead. Detectives Perez and Murata kept a safe distance, staying out of sight, waiting for the suspect to stop and eventually bail from the stolen vehicle. The suspect traveled into the city of West Park, where he bailed out of the vehicle and fled from the detectives. Both detectives were instrumental in containing the suspect, allowing K9 to apprehend the suspect without incident. After he committed an occupied residential burglary, attempting to elude our deputies. The suspect is no stranger to Detectives Perez and Murata. The suspect has a long violent history in the city of Dania Beach. Due to the dedication and hard work by these detectives, a violent felony offender was off our streets. Great case. I have another one here. If I can read that. We had 2 deputies of the month. I don't want to
Please,
take
go
up.
ahead.
All right. Brian Meneses, he's one of our field training deputies. We're lucky to have him. I wish he could have came tonight too, but he works day shift, and he had prior arrangements tonight. So Deputy Brian Meneses was assigned to train Deputy Passetti, which is one of our new deputies that you graciously approved for us. As part of the training, Meneses conducted a registration check of a vehicle that was parked at a parking lot of a local convenience store in an area known for criminal activity and street-level narcotic sales. The check revealed that the occupied Honda Pilot was reported stolen from the city of Hollandale Beach. Deputy Meneses positioned his marked Broward Sheriff's Office unit in a manner where he could conduct surveillance and not raise suspicion. He provided dispatch with a tag number to the stolen automobile and his location. While surveilling the Honda, it left the parking lot, and he followed it from a safe distance while informing dispatch of his location and awaiting backup deputies. Prior to the arrival of extra personnel, the Honda stopped in front of a residence, and the male driver exited. Deputy Meneses took swift action and directed Deputy Passetti to assist him in placing the driver into custody. After the arrival of backup deputies, a male passenger and 2 female occupants were safely detained. At the conclusion of the stolen vehicle investigation, 2 male offenders were arrested. The driver was charged with grand theft auto, driving while license suspended, third time, possession with intent to sell, manufacture, deliver cocaine, trafficking heroin, and trafficking fentanyl. And anytime we get fentanyl off the streets these days, let alone any type of legal narcotic, it's a win for all of us. The front seat passenger was charged with false identification given to a law enforcement officer, possession of cocaine, possession of paraphernalia, and violation of probation, and violation of pretrial release. So our deputies are out there doing amazing work, and I'm very proud of them. Maybe I'll get them to the next meeting so everybody can see them. And I'm also bringing our new narcotics canine. Still a little bit on the wild side, but she's calming down a little bit. So next meeting, hope to have her here too. That completes my report.
Thank you, Captain Marks.
Thank you.
Chief Pelliser?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and our great citizens of Dania Beach. I want to start off first by, yes, because earlier all the kids were here saying how thankful they were. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for everybody that's here in the audience, for our mayor, our vice mayor, our commissioners, our city manager. You guys have vision and you are great leaders. So thank you for supporting us, supporting the Dania Beach team, and supporting our city. I would like to thank our partners at Dania Point for allowing our units to continue to train at their parking garage. We're doing high-rise firefighter training with new hose packs, and at the same time, we're doing training with our SCBA. So the hose packs, we used to have 1 3/4 hose packs that if we ever had a building fire, a high-rise building fire, we would have to go inside with these 1 3/4 hoses. Now we upgraded to 2.5, 2-inch hoses. So those hoses are able to flow 100 more gallons than what we normally flow. In the past, we flowed 150 gallons per minute. Now we flow 250 gallons per minute. Now imagine the force that comes behind 250 gallons per minute. These firefighters have to be trained and they have to know what they're doing to be able to deal with that force. So our SCBA, so think about scuba diving, same thing. These firefighters have to be trained on the new air packs, putting the mask on, making sure that if we ever go into a toxic environment, we're trained and well-versed and ready to go. Our Dania units have been busy over the last month, spreading holiday cheers. We started with our fire truck delivering Santa to Bass Pro. We participated in the States of Fort Lauderdale holiday parade. We delivered Santa to our tree lighting ceremony. We also delivered Santa to the Lions Club this past weekend. Most importantly, our firefighters organized the Dania Beach annual toy drive at 5 and Below in Dania Point. So I also want to thank 5 and Below. The toy drive was a success. So far, we delivered toys from that drive to the BSO substation this past weekend when they had an event there. We delivered toys to the Lions Club, and we also delivered toys to Lighthouse Community Church, Brother Mac. Thank you to our Parks and Recreation, Carla Mercado, for the help. Her and her team came over, and I was having a stressful day with the build out of the fire station. So she came over and helped me put these toys together. So I want to give her a shout out because, you know, she really helped me one day when I was not having a good day. So with those, with that organization, we're going to be able to go out and deliver presents to over 13 Dania Beach families and bring them a little bit of extra cheer during this holiday season. So, you know, I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for the team. And the last thing I could say is Dania Beach, the different departments. We're not a city that has departments. We're a city that has a community, and all our departments get together and we all work together. And you know, I'm just blessed to be part of it. So thank you very much, and I hope you all have a good holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Okay, now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have any items that you would like to remove? Commissioner James?
Yes, items 7.3, 7.9, and 7.10.
7.3, 7.9, and 7.10.
If there's no others, I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 7.3, 7.9, and 7.10.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Eve, can you please read item 7.3?
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach approving revisions to the loan documents previously approved in resolution number 2022-049 to correct Scrivener's errors in an amortization period and other changes, to enter into a subordination agreement with the construction lender, and to amend a reference to the number of units in the project being developed by City Place Apartments Limited at 75 Park Avenue West in the City of Dania Beach. Authorizing the appropriate city officials to execute the mortgage documents, providing for conflicts and an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. I put this on here because if it was a revision, I don't know why it was on the consent agenda without explaining it to the rest of the board. So I read that it was 30-year loan agreement, but before that I read a 15-year. So I just want clarification.
Sure.
For myself and maybe any others who may be a little confused about how that works. Will we get the money in 30 years or 15 years, or is it
So-
45 years?
No, it's basically the amortization schedule that they're proposing is going to be for a 30-year period, but the caveat is it would be a lump payment at year 17 and a half. So the total number of years will be 17 and a half years. And let me explain. We originally approved a $1 million loan for affordable housing purposes for this project. At the number of units was 111, and now that because of inflation and because of different cost factors, it's now down to 99. The 99, the 11 that are being eliminated were going to be market rate anyway. So this is going to be 100% affordable housing at this point. When we originally approved the loan, it was for a 17 and a half year period. It was 2.5 years for construction, 15 years for the actual loan payments. Because of the financing, what they're trying to do is decrease the actual payments they're making monthly. That's why it's called the 30-year amortization rate. The longer your amortization rate, like if you have a 30-year mortgage, you're paying less than a month than you would be if you had a 15-year mortgage. That's the concept. But there's a caveat in the documents that at year 17 and a half, they have to pay the whole balance. So it remains a 17 and a half year loan. We get a lesser interest rate in the interim 17 and a half years.
Okay, so does that mean, do we get any interest on the lump sum that's going to come to us, or we're only getting interest on the small amounts?
We're getting the small amounts, and then we're getting the lump sum full payment in 17 and a half years.
Does it include the interest or not?
No, not additional interest. No, not for the 30.
Okay. Okay. That was it. You have any questions, Mayor? If not, I'm going to make a motion.
Motion, please.
Can I have a motion to approve 7.3?
Have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Okay, Eve, please read item 7.9.
A resolution of the City Commission authorizing the proper city officials to waive competitive bidding and call to artist requirements, and authorize the proper city officials to enter into an agreement to purchase the sculpture entitled Let Love Guide Your Way, designed by the public artist Lloyd Gorodetsky, in an amount not to exceed $175,000, providing for conflicts and an effective date. This is a community development item.
Commissioner James? Oh,
Yeah, it's okay. Sorry.
go ahead.
Thanks. I have questions for, I guess, Eleanor. Because I know we had discussion on this before, and we had said that it would come back for some type of discussion if we decided to purchase it. But did this go through the public arts plan? Okay, so I guess I'm a little confused on the protocol of this. So how does the art in public places plan work? Because I thought that we would get sort of final say on what was presented, but this is on consent agenda for $175,000.
Yes.
Correct. This is the recommendation that the Public Art Board made to the commission to make the purchase.
When did you make the recommendation on the consent?
No, the Public Art Board is making a recommendation to the commission to approve.
Okay, so what I'm saying is if this was never pulled, we wouldn't even have a discussion. So I don't know why this is put on consent at such a substantial, this is $175,000 that we're spending and we haven't even, I mean, we see, it's a beautiful piece of art. I love the weather vane. That, we're talking about the weather vane, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I love the weather vane. I'm just trying to figure out the process. So is it going to be like you guys just tell us you put items on consent and we just catch it if we catch
No, I
it,
have
if
to
we
defer
can?
to legal, but I'm sure, I know in the past, we've done purchases and they've been on consent for approval for purchasing.
For art in public places?
No, this is the first purchase for public art.
Okay, so what I'm asking is for moving forward and even for this, what is the process? So you guys are going to, because we just were lucky enough to see this piece of art. We're not at the Art in Public Places where we have a liaison that is Commissioner Davis. And so she's privy to all of these meetings as the liaison. But I thought that it was supposed to come back to us first for a discussion before we decided if we were going to spend money or not on this. So if something else comes about, how do we ever have input in what the board presents to us if it just goes under consent?
Commissioner, let me jump in because I believe that Eleanor deferred your question to the attorney. But $175,000 is not a threshold that would exceed not having it in consent. But going over the agenda like we have with Commissioner Llewellyn and the mayor and Commissioner Davis allows you for the opportunity to pull the item like you're doing today. So it's the the procedure or the process or the threshold, nothing has been violated.
So I guess I'm asking because there have been several things and not just this. This is just, I pulled the other item because again, if it was going to be a change, I feel like it should have been maybe under discussion or maybe under something else or presentations. But I feel like the things that are on consent, it should have already been, it should just at this point be an administrative task. It shouldn't need to have input from the board. That's what consent is, what I believe. And these are discussions that we have had in the past. Now, moving forward, I do want to, I don't have to have an agenda review because I know how to read. Not that I don't, I'm not insinuating that others don't know how to read the agenda, but I am comfortable enough to know how to show up here and not have to speak to staff. And maybe I don't have the time all the time to do that. What I'm asking is, with the Art in Public Places Board, how are we going to view different items? Do we have to do an agenda review to view the different art that is going to be being presented to us? Or what is the process?
Before Eve jumps in, if you all going forward want anything having to do with art procurement to not be on consent, we can certainly not put it on consent. But I'll turn it over to Eve in regards to the protocol for the agenda.
So the protocol for the Art and Public Places Board is exactly what Eleanor has done. It is for the board itself to do the call to artists ordinarily, or the waiver of the call to artists as was done here, and to make a recommendation to you all. We don't have currently on the agenda, like your policies direct on how the agenda is written. There is no separate section for like non-consent items. We have bids, public hearings, and this is not a public hearing item, and discussion and possible action. So, and really, they're proposing a resolution. It's not a discussion item, but I guess in the future, we could create another section for items that are not under the consent agenda. Or if you'd like them to be discussion and possible action, we can change it to that for all art pieces.
I just want to be consistent because it's $175,000, and why that wouldn't be up for discussion is mind blowing to me. Why we wouldn't have that as some type of a discussion, and we are waiving the process of bidding. So I think that
So if you'd like
qualifies
in the-
for We needing input from our board members. I mean, pass it or not, or whoever it is, or whatever it is. I want to just be consistent in what we're doing because it just seems like it's just there as a resolution. There's no discussion, and I don't know how moving forward how things are going to happen. If that's going to be process, I want to change that process because I don't agree with how that's ran. I'll let everyone else.
Thank you, Commissioner James. Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes, thank you. I have a different concern. I don't really have an issue with it being on consent because we can always pull anything that's on consent. And if you're reading the full agenda, then you know when you want to pull something. But the question that I have is, we have a budget for these art pieces, correct? In total?
So the board does approve an annual budget for themselves, yes.
And what is the annual budget?
They've approved for this fiscal year, $300,000.
Okay, so this is $175,000 out of the 300,000. So that leaves what, 125,000? I was not a math major, but I could figure that
At
out.
our next planning public art board meeting is the discussion of the budget.
Okay, so my concern is this. That's a lot of money to spend on one piece. And what I thought we all wanted to do is we want to try to increase the amount of art that is throughout the city for public art. I love the piece. I think it's fabulous. And I think there are a lot of people who are taking pictures with it and posting it everywhere. But I'm wondering if there is some other option that we can look at it, whether it's like we split it over a couple of different fiscal years and pay it off somehow, so that you're not spending so much money and then it limits us as to what else we can purchase with the rest of that budget. So just a thought. Anybody?
Thank you, Commissioner Salvino.
Thank you. Couple things have arisen in my thought process here. Number one, Eleanor, the art in public places, the money that comes to that comes through our building department. Is that right?
There's an impact fee
Impact
for
fee,
large
right. And
development.
how much is in that fee right now?
We have a little over $1.4 million in that
So you
fund.
have $1.4 million in there, and which I knew the number. I just was playing here.
Testing me.
So $1.4 million, and we're only allocating $300,000, and we have a lot of building coming up. Plus, the builders are also designated to build and provide art on the project as well. Is that correct?
They have the excuse me, they have the option to provide art on their site or contribute into the art fund.
Okay.
But even if they provide art on the site, there is a small contribution to
So,
the art.
so there's art still going all through the city no matter what. Plus, we have $1.4 million in our fund, right?
That's the
okay.
object of the board, is to put art everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. So, right. So my point is that art is going up across the city, even though this is our first piece that's come across us as far as an approval. And it is an expensive item, but it's been out there. It was on a consignment style basis to get an idea where we're at. People have acknowledged it. It could be what I call our statement piece out there. And I do agree, it's a lot of money. I mean, but it's out there, and I think that, and I do agree the fact that it should come up for a little bit more discussion. We had a discussion on this before when it first came out, but I think the discussion came up about 2 years ago, and when it came up for the discussion, we really didn't have anything going on as art. We didn't have any art anywhere. We didn't have any buildings that had art. We didn't have any. There was no money in the art public places. I mean, today we're 2 years later. We're in a different situation right now. And right now, the board that we put together that we support, we have to agree to their choices. If we turn this down, we're not believing in our board, And I think that, I mean, I don't disagree with Commissioner James. I think that we should have a process in order. But as far as this piece goes, I mean, it's there, it's established, it's already had its presence with the city, and it's a lot of money. But I think at this point, I think it's something that we should agree on to support our art in public places. I think we should do a process in the future, but I hate to see it deferred and then us start off with. I hate to see us start off with a negative in the art in public places on our first piece of art. That's my point. So thank you very much. That's my say so.
Thank you, Commissioner Salvino. Commissioner James?
No, I guess I was just I pressed my button when
Okay.
with Commissioner.
Commissioner Davis, please.
Thank,
What, you just said you were done?
thank you. It's okay. We can circle back. Um, a couple of things because I really want to acknowledge the fact that this art board that we put together was not just, residents that we selected, from anywhere. Our staff, you and Corinne have put together people and made the application such that we would have experts, subject matter experts in art, people who have gone to school for art and been featured in Art Basel to make these recommendations. And so I really want to um, make sure that we value the people that we put on these boards. We have done tours, we have a plan for what that art is going to be and what we prioritize as the future art projects. This piece to and I love it, and it goes with what our strategic plan is to make Dania Beach a destination location. It goes with the see it, live it, love it. This piece there's only 144 in the entire United States that are selected for National Public Archive. This piece is already an award-winning, nationally recognized piece. And so whenever you do a call to artists, you're not guaranteed that you're going to get, national recognition like this piece has already gotten. It has been vetted. It has won awards in the short period of time that it has been here, and the process that we have planned going forward is not going to deplete the rest of the budget for what the board has planned so far in the future. The board voted unanimously to keep this piece here. It has been vetted, it has shown its value, and art is only going to appreciate over time. And so I am behind the board. I respect the expertise that the board has, and I am behind keeping the peace as the board has voted to do so unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner James?
Yes, no, I was just, when Commissioner Llewellyn asked for input, I would agree with what she had said. I mean, Lord Jesus, Vice Mayor Llewellyn,
Not Christmas yet.
when she, yeah, we're playing musical chairs up here. When she mentioned the budget, I hadn't even thought about that aspect of it, but I do agree with what she said. It's not, any opinion that I have doesn't take away the respect that I have for anyone. We're here to make decisions for our residents in our city, and we always have opinions. And if it is supported, it's supported. If not, we move on and we turn the page and we keep it moving. So um, I just want to put that on the record that it doesn't take away any respect factor that I have for anyone that is serving for free on a board or any board for the betterment of our city. I just think that our policies or our procedures, I don't really like them. They don't really seem super transparent when it comes down to spending $175,000 and putting it on a consent agenda. I think there definitely needs to be some other type of process before the recommendation comes, so that if we have any discussion or opinions that come up with the other four of us that are elected officials, that we have that opportunity to put our input in before the final recommendation is there, so that we all, at the end of the day, have can feel comfortable about the decisions that we're making. So that is it. I don't have a motion for the item.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I have some further discussion on this. So, yeah, this piece of art, it's been here for a year, and we've leased it for the last year. I know there was a discussion of purchasing it last year, and then we decided on a lease for $750 a month. So we're currently around $750 a month, right? That's what we pay for it.
The total cost was $6,800.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, around 6,000 for the whole year, and now we're jumping to purchase it for 175,000. Well, I've heard that. Well, it said that the artist had it appraised for $344,000 in that range, right? If I'm correct.
$375,000.
$375,000. So we're getting quite a deal. where, who appraised it? Do we know?
Yes, it was appraised by Linda Saft. She's a recommended appraisal from our public art consultant.
Linda Saft?
Yes.
Okay.
She's
Uh,
a ISA accredited.
And that was hired by
That was
our
recommended
board?
by our public art consultant to the artist.
To the
use.
artist?
She gave a list of appraisers to use, and he chose Linda Saft, which is accredited in the association.
She's accredited, okay, for public arts.
Yes.
Okay. I'd probably be interested in maybe obtaining a second appraisal. This isn't uncommon. And also, uh, I would like to see previous works by the artist and what he sold them for to justify, this sale. And I know that this has been an award-winning piece, not just because of its, artistic value, but also because it's prominently been placed in front of City Hall. So I'd say the city had something to do with it as well. And yeah, I would just like to probably do a little more research on this before moving forward with, depleting our whole entire budget for the year. Because, we still do have other expenses besides just this $175,000 purchase. So yes, I would like to leave this open for further discussion. Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Don't go anywhere. Um, based upon what your comments are, is there a time limit? Like, do we have to?
So the lease expires to February 3rd, January 4th.
January 4th. We don't really. Do we? We don't have another meeting in December, do we? No, so we have to make the decision now, or we will lose it. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you. I I do want to, the artist is here, our board chair is here from the Public Art Board, so if either of you would want to speak or provide any additional information that is relevant to the piece or that would further give some insight to the questions, because we do have a budget, but the art board has been smart about the budget, and this would not deplete our budget for the rest of the year. So I want to give them opportunity because the artist is here and we do have our chair here. If either one of you would like to speak on the topic, I would like to be able to provide you with that opportunity.
Please.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Vice Mayor. My name is Kelly Schrabi. I'm the Chair of the Board for Art and Public Places Advisory. And I just want to say that I understand that there's a little bit of confusion about the process that we've gone through. It is a new board, but you have put together qualified candidates on the board who give their time and effort and their input and their experience, in addition to the advisor that the city has hired for art and public places. And this piece specifically is exactly what Dania Beach asked for. A quality piece of art that has proven itself in value, in recognition, is now recognized nationally. When you go to this website specifically for, let me just reference the website exactly, sorry, so I don't give you incorrect information. It is Public Art Archives, nationally recognized, that there are only 144 pieces that were qualified over the last 4 years to be placed through the National Public Art Archives. When you go to this site, Dania Beach comes up because of this piece. I agree with you, Mayor, that yes, this city has helped in conjunction with the piece to be recognized together, being in the placement where it is with City Hall. But Lloyd and his work have proven themselves to the city. There's nothing missing in what we asked for in qualification for our first substantial public piece of art. And honestly, I don't know if you have any questions for me as the chair of the board, what we discussed, but I'm open to any questions that you might have, input that I can give.
No? Okay.
Commissioner Salvino?
Yes, Mayor, I'm having a tough time with this because of, listening to some of the comments and stuff, and nothing to be derogatory, but, I'm going back when I first got elected the first time around. I remember going through certain things that we were making choices on, and I remember getting a lesson taught to me at that time about if we're going to micromanage every single thing that's going to go in through our system, what's the point of having a board or a person to appraise or a person to create or whatever? And I mean, um, I know we make final decisions on the financing and so on, but it isn't all of our money. We have a 1.4 million. We're not. That's not in our general budget. That's in the arts and public places funds. That's why it was specified arts and public places. And here we have a piece of art that's nationally recognized. We have an appraiser that's qualified. We have a board that's been appointed and put together of qualified people, and now we're second guessing them. And here we are with no time left. That this was going to be an element that was going to be up for a heavy discussion. We should have had this discussion 2 months ago, not tonight. And here we are about to either win or lose this piece of art. And like you said, we got a bargain. You came out of your words, Mayor. 340,000 for 175,000. I don't know why we're even having a more of a discussion on this. I mean, it's something that's out there. It's being exposed. We have the money. We had it properly appraised and so on. And I think we should approve this art piece and move on. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. No, yeah, I'll restate it. My biggest concern is, after we buy this for 175,000, and we still pay a salary on top of that, we're gonna have less than $100,000 for the whole year to try and find more public art. And so, well, if every piece of public art that we're gonna put up there is gonna be $200,000, we're gonna run out of that fund real fast.
Mayor, if I may, we're actually going to amend our budget. That's a discussion that we're having at our next meeting for the advisory board as well. So,
Yes, yeah, I
right.
was aware of that, to amend the budget. But, where it is right now, this is still, like I said, I would just like another appraisal. You know, I know there's a time limit, but, perhaps maybe we could extend the lease just for another, one more meeting, before there's some more information I'd like to get on this, that's all. The board still has their decisions to make as well. Commissioner Davis?
Have you been able to view the appraisal?
No.
Okay. Only because this is highly recommended. This is a government approved appraisal. This is not, this is a 15-page appraisal with details to really demonstrate the value at the highest level. So I think that if you were able to view it and you would be able to see the quality that goes into it or that went into the appraisal to value it at $375,000, these are people who do it at the highest level. I also wanted to just really reiterate to the public so that they know that we're not spending taxpayer dollars on this. I think that's very important because when we're talking about money, people think, oh my God, you're going to spend $175,000 of taxpayer dollars. These are not taxpayer dollars. These are developer dollars that our team and our staff and our administration brilliantly set aside so that when you come to Dania Beach, when you develop, that you're going to have to put a percentage aside in order to make our city beautiful. And so that's what these funds are for. They do not come from the taxpayer fund. We do have $1.4 million as Commissioner Salvino said, and this goes directly with our See It, Live It, Love It theme, which we all put in our strategic plan. So I just wish that we did have the information that you need. It is available, but I would not want to lose this piece just based on lack of information. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes, I'd like to call the question and see if there's a motion.
Can we, the clerk, can you call it?
At this point, is there a motion to call the question?
7.9.
Clerk, can you please call roll?
I'm not clear what the motion is.
Pass 7.9.
Pass 7.9.
Here we go. Commissioner Davis, Commissioner James, Commissioner Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
No.
Motion carries 3-2.
Okay, for item 7.10, could you please read it, Eve?
A resolution of the City Commission authorizing execution of an agreement between the School Board of Broward County and the city for a recreational license agreement of school board property known as site number 47.1, otherwise known as Olson Middle School, for the city to make improvements on the property for recreational and parking purposes, providing for conflicts and an effective date. This is a Parks and Recreation item.
Commissioner Davis?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Commissioner James?
Yeah, yes, thank you. This is another item that is kind of vague. So, we've all been working on Olson for a very long time, and I'm excited that we have some traction, but I want to know exactly to make improvements and provide parking, what is the budgetary impact on us? Are we going to use anything that we've used from the Parks Master Plan, or you just provide the public with a little more information about this MOU that you've been working with? Or
Before
NO
Eric, because through the mayor, Commissioner James, before Eric speaks on this item, just wanted to give you a little bit of history. For decades, the city had been working or trying unsuccessfully to be able to get that building demolished. Eric, myself, and then Mayor Llewellyn began to work with the school board, and we really pressured them, and we had a multitude of meetings with them. We came full circle. We were able to get that meeting demolished. As a matter of fact, Mimi came with me and then Commissioner Harris to make a presentation in front of the school board. And bottom line, we are where we're at. It's demolished. Your priorities, this commission's priority is for us to be able to augment our green space and our parks. Hence, fast forward the work that Eric has been doing. There is nothing in regards to what will be designed and what will be constructed. That's why it's left so vague and so open, because this will constitute a workshop. It'll constitute spending more time with the neighbors. So what we've done is just put a bunch of possibilities and other things, but it's to secure this 25-year agreement. So we have those almost 7 acres available to us for a future plan as we lack the green space that we need for this growing population. And with that, I'll turn it over
Well,
to Eric.
Well, I know the history. I was, a very deep part of that history as well, and I just wanted to know what happened. Well, maybe Eric, you can tell us what happened to the plans that we had for the park master plans for this, because we also had some preliminary sketches and stuff like that as well.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, City Attorney, City Manager, Eric Brown, Parks Director. What we're doing tonight is asking you guys to approve us going out and getting a 25 plus a 25-year extension, 50 years agreement, and we want to just secure the land. Now, what you guys have in front of you is a concept of what it could look like. Olson was not a part of City of Dania Beach at the time the master plan was complete, so that was not a part of the master plan itself. All what you guys have is a concept, but Olson is not a part of the master plan because Olson did not belong to the City of Dania Beach at the time. Now, once you guys sign it, because I believe that you will, so once it's signed and once you guys approve it, then we will be able to go and make that concept that you have in front of you a reality. Now, we have 50 years to put something on this land. We have 4 to 5 projects out. That's 4 to 5 major projects out right now. So we just want to secure this land. We can. It's an open field space. We can put some soccer out there. once we secure it, we have the insurance, we have an agreement with the school, we can have open space play. So right now, all we want to do is just secure the land. 6.5, almost 7 acres of land that the city of Dania Beach in the future can build on. But right now, Commissioner James, we gave you guys a concept of what could go on that land.
If I may interrupt for a moment, on page 4 of 17 of the actual agreement, there are items that are being proposed
Right.
for the land, but it hasn't been workshopped. You guys haven't approved those, which is why we've made the language as tentative. And Frank actually was very, very important in this process because we were concerned about having a commitment. We don't know how much all of this is going to cost. So in that sense, we said, okay, only upon actual budgeted funding and any grant funding coming in would we have any obligations.
And again, there's no dollar amount or dollar agreement tied to this agreement that you guys have in front of you. There's not a dollar amount. All we're doing is securing some land to have shared usage agreement with the school board of Broward County.
Right. But the concept plan does include four new tennis courts, 2 pickleball, field play, track, soccer field, 63 parking spaces, 2 playgrounds, and an exercise path. That's the concept. But again, you guys need to finally approve that, and then we need to go out and try and find the funding.
Well, there's no funding involved in what you have in front of you now.
When? Not
I
now.
don't take the funding out because I don't want anybody to get confused about funding periods. So
I-
there's no
I just wanna-
Secure the land.
Yeah,
Right, secure the land is all we want to do.
Yeah, and we use words like may versus shall, because this concept was just to get something on paper. I've had conversations with residents around there. I've had conversations with some of you. We may want to put a little area for a dog park. We may want to put a track. So this is just a concept. Thank
Commissioner James?
Yes, thank you. There was a different site plan prior to this one that had like aquatics, that had cabanas.
Right.
Like, I'm not going crazy.
No,
here.
no,
And
Mayor.
so
I
what
mean,
happened to that?
No, that was a concept, but it wasn't a part of the master plan.
Okay, so where's that concept?
We have it. We had BNA come out and give us what potentially could go on that land.
Okay, and then they gave us another one?
Yeah, they gave us a concept of what could go on there. There was a building involved. There was some pools involved.
Right. I'm
Yeah, but-
asking why. Okay, I'm okay with securing the land. Let's be very
Right,
clear.
right.
But I was kind of confused because that was the concept that I worked on, and now all of a sudden I don't see that at all.
Right, because what we did was we came to commission because it was brought up that what about Olson property?
Mhm.
And since we didn't own it at the time, or it wasn't in our possession, we gave the commission at that time a concept of what that could look like, what that land could look like. What that property
Okay, I'm gonna
could
move
look like.
past because I still don't see what happened to the other
You know
concepts.
what,
I only see one,
Commissioner
but
James,
I
it
make a
wasn't
motion.
adopted because we had to remove it
Right.
because we couldn't master plan land that we didn't own.
Right.
I understand everything that you're already talking about, but I think
So-
I'm getting lost in translation.
so
So
what
can I
I-
just make
so
a motion?
We just want to secure the almost
Right.
7 acres. That's
I'll
all.
just make a motion.
Yeah, the concept plan and the funding is not set in stone.
I got
Nothing.
all that.
Yeah.
I got all that. I'm gonna just move on. I make a motion to
But-
approve 710.
I think Vice Mayor Llewellyn has some comments.
Oh, okay,
No.
you could just do the
My-
second and
mine's
then discussion.
Oh.
I just was gonna say something, 2 words. More pickleball. I'm just gonna say more pickleball because that's all I hear about. So I'm just
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
that's all. I'm
Oh, yeah.
good with it.
Okay.
Commissioner Davis?
Thank you. I just would like I have been approached by different residents and different people, and because the concepts have changed over time, I would like to have, as a commission, input from the commission on the concept that comes forward. So if we could have, our part in it as well, because it's changed and we know what the residents have asked, that before we do a final, and I understand because you guys do such a great agenda review with me. I know that this is just the first step and we're not approving a concept right now. I have no problem with moving forward with approving this item, but I'm just asking that we be involved in the conversation before the final concept and that we be allowed to have some creative input when that comes forward.
Without a doubt. I mean,
Thank
without
you.
a doubt.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should definitely have a workshop on any,
Yeah,
any
it would be
concept for any new
workshop, and
park.
as the managers, as the manager said earlier, that concept was not approved because it was not city property, so it was not approved.
Entertain a motion? You already motioned. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Okay, let's move on. We have no bids and requests for proposals. So now it's time for public hearings. This is a public hearing. Are there any comments from the public?
Let me read the item in if you don't mind.
Okay.
A resolution of the City Commission approving the Hilton Embassy Suite site plan, design variations and variances for the property owner B&JMC Dania Plaza LLC, whose property is located at 233 North Federal Highway in the city of Dania Beach, providing for conflicts and an effective date. This is continued from the November 21st, 2022 agenda, and it is a community development item. Before staff speaks, since this is a quasi judicial hearing, anyone who is going to be testifying on this application, including anybody in the public who has comments, could you please raise your right hand and swear to tell the truth, including staff? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you so much. Are there any disclosures that need to be made on this application? Seeing none.
Yes, this is with Mr. Mealy, right?
No.
Oh, no? Okay, no
That's the next
disclosures.
one.
Okay, thank you. While Monica pulls up staff's presentation, I just wanted to take this opportunity to introduce our newly promoted Planning and Zoning Manager, Viviana Batistas. Thank you. She works closely with Corinne LaJoy, and we see her as a valuable asset to the department and the management team in the division. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. So today I'm here to present the Hilton Embassy Suites. They are proposing a project to be located at 233 North Federal Highway in the city center zoning district with a future land use designation as the Regional Activity Center. Next slide, please. Thank you. So that reflects the map and the boundary for the notification purposes. Next slide, please. The site plan request is for the construction of 13-story, 222-room hotel meeting and ballroom space and a full-service restaurant. In order to take full advantage of the maximum density and height permitted in the zoning district, the applicant is requesting to provide a series of incentives. One is the sustainable building practice. They're looking to achieve to earn 4 additional stories by acquiring silver status on the LEED construction, as well as payment in lieu for public parking. They're proposing to pay 20 parking spaces for a total of $130,000 to earn 2 additional stories as an incentive. Next slide, please. So as you can see, this is the footprint of a building. It is facing Federal Highway and Northwest 3rd Street. Next slide, please. These are some renderings of what they're proposing for the building and the appearance, how it's going to look like. Next slide, please. So the design variations, they're proposing a total of 6 design variations. The first one is, one of the requests from the code is the building has to be built to 0 to 5 setback, and they're proposing the line to be allowed on the north for 27 feet setback and to the east for 4 to 6 feet. The second design variation is for the building location. The code requires them to provide a building to line 70%, and they're proposing a 59.3% to be located on the build to line. On the upper story setbacks, the code requires them to have 10 to 15 feet of setback from the 6th to the 13th floor, and they're proposing to provide a 2 feet on the west and 5 feet on the south. The fourth design variation is for landscape regulations. The code requires them to have 20 trees, 10 sable palms, spaced 15 feet on the center, and they're proposing to waive that amount and the spacing requirement from the code. The fifth is the glazing requirement, which the code requires them to provide 35 on primary elevation and 15 on secondary elevation, and they're proposing 28.5 on the primary and 13.4 in secondary. And last but not least, the roof overhang structure, the code requires them to provide a pitch roof and generous overhang, and they're proposing a flat roof because of the design itself of the building, as you previously noticed. Applicant provided enough justification for reasonable accommodation of the design flexibility and meeting the criteria that the code requires in Code Section 301. Therefore, staff is supportive of the request of the design variations and variances, and urban infill projects often require this type of flexibility, and our code provides this ability to do so. Next slide, please. Thank you. So another request with this project is the variances, which are a total of 2. One is they're requesting the percentage of valet parking. So our code requires them to provide, or to have, I'm sorry, no more than 10%. And they're requesting to have 81% of the building of the parking as valet. And the other one is their grade percentage of the ramp, which usually the code requires them to provide 12% inclination, and they're proposing 14%. These variances request maintain the basic intent of the purpose of the regulations and compatible with the surrounding land uses, and will not be detrimental to the community. The request is consistent with and furtherance of the goals, objectives, and policies adopted by the comprehensive plan, requesting the minimum necessary to afford relief, preserving the character, health, and safety of the community. So next slide, please. They did a community outreach, contacting and actually holding a meeting on October 18th to reach out to all their neighboring neighbors, and discussing any development going on and any questions that they might have arisen. They went through the development review committee, and although they have some outstanding comments, they will be addressing them prior to building permit issuance. On the budgetary impact, the development will expand the city's tax roll and will be required to pay for the following impact fees associated with this project. Public art impact fee up to $250,000, RAC transportation impact fee $1,509, payment in lieu of parking fee for $130,000. They also meet the strategic plan with the objectives of having a more attractive and beautiful community for our entrances, our corridors, and activity center, and our neighborhoods. Also, the value to our neighbors and our community, the protection and enhancement of property values, and short-term challenges and opportunities. They're meeting expanding businesses, investment in Dania Beach. So the staff recommendation is for these to be approved with the site plan variances and design variations, and meet all the requirements from DRC as of the conditions of approval. The applicant is here as well, and they would like to present their item if you have any questions.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor. My name is Richard Coker, with the law firm Coker and Feiner. I'm here representing the owner and developer Benito Arostorza, and we're here with the project architect Javier Negroni. And I think the staff report in our application provides the details of the development. So I won't go into anything that the staff report's gone over, but we do have some more extensive slides showing the architectural elements. And we'd like to show that to you now. If we can, how can we do that? Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, okay. Hi, Monica. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right. This property is on the northern end of your center city, and it's going to be the first and major project that people see coming from the airport. And it will by far be the most high-end hotel in the city of Dania Beach with conference rooms, meeting rooms, a full service restaurant. That restaurant will be for the guests and for the meeting rooms in the hotel. But this, one of the reasons for the variances and the variations is because this is a truly urban hotel. One of your criteria happened to be no more than 10% of the parking can be in valet parking, and that's a suburban type of requirement. But this is planned to be an urban hotel, the first urban hotel, really in Dania Beach, and virtually all of the parking will be valet parking. The only parking that won't be valet will be employee parking. What you see here is in the first slide, this is going south on Dania, on US 1. This is the corner of 3rd and Dania. Excuse me, 3rd and US 1. And you see the atrium area, the entrance area, the drop-off area is to your right on 3rd, but that's the view that people coming from the airport will see when they first come into Dania Beach. And Monica, could you hit it one more time, please? The next one, next slide. This is the view from that one. Okay, that is that is from the south, looking at the south elevation from the property to the south. The next slide, please. This is looking south towards the entrance where you see Embassy Suites. That is the major entrance, and you can see the drop off to your right. All on 3rd Avenue. There's no entrance or exit on to US 1. It's all on 3rd Avenue. Next slide, please. Again, this is looking south from the north. No, I'm sorry. This is from the okay. This is from the north. That is 3rd. You can see the entrance into the parking garage, and you can see the roof top deck, which we'll look at in a minute. Next slide, please. And that's the streetscape from the corner of 3rd Street and US 1. Okay, next slide, please. Another streetscape view of the sidewalk and pedestrian area right there at the entrance of the hotel. Next slide, please. This is the drop-off area on 3rd with the sidewalk area. And you can see the overhang where the drop-off is on 3rd. Next slide, please. And this is the rooftop deck. All the amenities and the landscaping and all that will be on the 5th floor. Okay, so there'll be a 5th floor deck. And we think that this is a great improvement to the architecture in Dania Beach, a great improvement to the, I guess, the level of sophistication of the uses along US 1. We have, as I said, we have the architect who can explain a lot better than I can the details. If you have any specific questions of the architecture or the development, we're here to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Mayor James?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
I'm not sure who can answer this. Is this part of the rack units that remain, or this hotel not?
Okay. Yeah.
You have to refresh me. It's been a while.
Good evening. This is not a residential project, so there are
Okay.
no rec units involved. It is located in the Regional Activity Center, but there's no units involved.
Okay, so are the incentives different? Because I saw somewhere, I don't think I ever saw the
So,
term for
no,
the
but the
incentives.
incentives are the same. The incentives, which are true for everybody, can earn you additional density, additional height, and reduced pervious area. So in this case, they don't need the units, but they got it for the height of the structure. And he's in the city center district, so the city center can use or can choose from all 5 of our incentives. There's some districts where not all 5 are applicable, but the city center, there are 5 different incentives they can choose.
How many stories can they build by right without the incentives?
7. And then there's sloping, but there's no residential near them. When you get close to residential, then there's other restrictions, but in the city center, it's 7.
Okay, and then we don't, per our code, we don't like to have more than 10% valet.
Correct.
And
It was just never envisioned in our code that it be 100% valet. I mean, the code may be a little bit antiquated. It was rewritten in 2010. It was just never envisioned that there would be that much demand for a valet. Yeah, and I mean, my only comment towards converting that much to valet is that valet, because it's valet and it's professionally parked, it's not parked by the public, does allow for tighter parking spaces. So it would make it, they'd lose spaces if they ended up converting and eliminating that valet. But it's a hotel, so it doesn't really, I guess there's no foreseeable scenario in which it would convert or need to change over.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I have a few questions. So what restaurant, is it gonna be an Embassy Suites restaurant that you guys are putting in?
Embassy, Embassy Suites provides a full-service restaurant for its residents, for its patrons, and for the conference rooms and the meeting spaces and the ballrooms and stuff like that. At this time, it's not anticipated it'll be open to the public, at least initially. Some Embassy Suites are open to the public, and some aren't. Okay,
Yeah, please, come
come
on.
on.
Because I got more questions for you.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, good evening, Vice Mayor, and good evening,
Your name?
Commissioners. Benito Irastorza.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Lasorsa. All right.
Thank you. So, I mean, it's not, it's part of the own restaurant. It's open to the public. We also would have meeting rooms and ballrooms, which is open to any guests or anybody in the city of Dania Beach. Um, but the restaurant itself, it's part of the program of Embassy Suites. In some other cases, they have other franchises, associated to. But in this case, it's our own restaurant with our own chef.
Well, yeah, your attorney was saying it's, gonna be a high-end hotel, so I was
Right.
expecting it'd probably be a high-end restaurant there as well.
Correct.
Okay, and it's accessible to the public, and it's valet parking only, but we still have sufficient space for locals to valet their own car and be patrons at the restaurant as well.
Correct. It's open to the public
Okay.
again. I mean, it's not just only, and all of the, it's convenient to, we're not doing any valet for the employees. So the employees would be able to come in and park themselves. But for meeting rooms, it's very typical and it's very useful to have valet service. And for all the ballrooms, it's very, it helps to, with traffic as well.
And yeah, another question: why Sable Palms?
I think that the landscape architect we have, I mean, I think that that's the code.
Yeah.
That it was required. We propose to have modules on the main entrance. If you look into the main renderings, we propose to have modules, but the code itself asks for royal palms. And that was one question. I think that at the end, our architect and our preference would be to have modules because it's a self-cleaning palm, and it doesn't have the relation as the like royal palms. Like royal palms, sometimes there's a problem where with the palms falling there, the big leaves. But the sable palms is a code requirement, and we were just complying with the code. But if there's any other, we're willing to work, but it's just the code that it requires for certain natives palms.
Okay, but you're still open to suggestions.
Yes.
Okay. Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Yeah, I have a question. I feel like I've been sitting next to Commissioner Davis too long. I'm about to ask this. Why gray and white
Sorry?
with a color scheme? It just seems like everything we get these days is gray and white.
No, I mean, it's Miami. I mean, it's in a way, it's a very reflective for the color, but we do have some metal we have some grays. And if you look into the elevation, we played a lot on the dimensions with the elevation. And there's a lot of, it's a very sculptural piece. If you look into it, we have a lot of glass on the main entry.
The glass is nice. The glass is
Right,
definitely
right.
nice. It's
So,
just
so we are creating, the main corner. It's our main focus point, and all of that is glass. The carport also, it's all made of metal. So there's a lot of things that are going on. If maybe we can see. I think that on the one that where we see the most is at the pedestrian level. I don't know if you remember. If we can look at the pedestrian level, you'll see, one of the last few pictures that we had. But you see on that level, you see the canopy that is cantilever. I mean, we have, you have the glass, you have the metal, you have different colors, you have white, gray. So there's a lot going on.
some brown.
Right. Sometimes, right.
I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious, and I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I don't want to say pink, but like I'm just looking for like a little splash of color or some artwork or something that would make it.
Sometimes also what happens is we are dictated by the brand in a way, and the architectural style of the building itself. So some of the colors are dictated by the brand
Right.
itself.
And I know the logo's the green and white, and
Right.
I've stayed in many MDC suites over the years, so
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very familiar with it. But
Yeah.
it's just, I do like the glass. The
Uh-huh.
glass is nice. I just stop laughing at me, Gunner. I don't know. I just feel like it seems like everything that comes before us these days is just these earth tones over and over again. And every once in a while, somebody throws in a piece of art that's more colorful.
Yeah.
It's just hard because our logo is so colorful to not see so
We
much
can
color.
revisit and maybe come back with,
Something?
and think a little bit on a little bit.
Well, as you
more
guys stated, this is the
color.
first thing you're gonna see when you enter our city from the
Yeah.
airport.
No,
So
but
we
I
kind of
mean,
want it to
make
pop.
a statement.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we did pay a lot of attention to that, and I think that as far as on the renderings, you can see that. I mean, there's a lot that we have put up into it. The ceiling there, it's wood, so you will see that. That's on the
Yeah,
on the fifth
I see that.
floor when you have the pool deck.
Right.
So
That's the most eye-catching part right there, is that deck with
Right.
the teacup top or whatever you got up there.
As long as
Yeah.
it's dark out. So, but if it's daytime, you're not going to see it as much. And that's just, I mean, because literally when you drive into Dania Beach from the airport, you see our giant logo, you see the sign. And we did that for a reason, because we want everybody to know where they are and to, feel like this is bright, sunny South Florida. And that's, I mean, it's just, if it's going to be the first thing that people see as far as a building, I just would like to see it pop a little more. That's all. That's all I had to say. Sure, absolutely.
Please.
Yes, good evening. Javier Negroni from DLW Architects. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission. I would like to say that the colors, an advantage of a neutral color to the building allows to play with lighting. The building is going to be light up. In order to light up, there's so many things we can do these days with lighting. And little elements like that, the perspective of the pedestrian, it's that glass. And when you look up, you look at that wood ceiling. So that's little sparkles of elements that bring the attention. And we would like people to we would like for people, we would like to bring people's attention with those little details. So that's why the neutral color is more efficient in that sense. And the building with the panels have a lot of play and movement. When people is driving, we have a series of panels that make the building very active. So the use of a lot of color might be a little bit too much. So that's why we kept it very neutral.
And I
And
know on Federal Highway, you have to be careful. You can't make it too
yeah,
distracting and that sort of thing. There are issues with that. So I understand that.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for, choosing our city for this project. It's our first Embassy Suites that we have in Dania Beach. So I would think that, it would be nice to have an Embassy Suites at Dania Beach on the hotel, if that's a possibility. You can have your logo at Dania Beach and I think it would look really nice. And that's how people are gonna search it anyways, on their phone if they're traveling through Sport Airport.
Some of the things I just don't want to make the compromise because, there's certain items that we need to also run it by Hilton, but
Yeah,
as much
corporate,
as,
yeah.
right, so, I mean, but within the name, I know that we will be called the Embassy Suites Dania Beach. That would be the name. Uh, in general, as far as signage, Hilton typically, and you will see that on all Embassy Suites, that you just see the, you know, Embassy Suites by Hilton. But as far as the logo on other promoted materials, as far as brochures and things like that, yes, we can incorporate, that type of things. But I believe that on the image of the building itself, we're a little bit control of what the requirements will be by Hilton.
Okay, yeah, if you guys can run that by corporate and see if we could put, the city of Dania Beach somewhere on the building, for recognition, it would definitely,
Okay, well, I mean, as far as the seal on the,
it doesn't have to technically be our logo.
Okay,
You
No,
guys
not the
could, you
logo.
guys could, yeah, you guys
just
could
the name.
conform it to, to your color scheme. It would be a nice change.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, as long as we, again, we.
Yeah, you don't have
we
to do pink, blue, and yellow. It's okay.
Right, we.
You could do you could do a gray and,
Right,
and white
right,
and silver Dania Beach, it'll look good.
okay,
Glass.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
glass.
okay.
Please, no, please consider
Okay.
that, because
We
it's
will.
very important to our city and, I don't really see many other hotels that have that.
Okay,
And this is our main one that you're gonna see when you
Alright.
enter, because nothing's gonna be built
I-
to
I
the
wonder-
north of you unless they tear down that gas station.
right, perhaps we can do something at the pedestrian level, like a sculptural piece, maybe an art piece and,
You
with that.
guys have been here for the meeting. You see how
Okay.
passionate we are about
So-
our public art.
So I think that maybe that's what we can incorporate that kind of in an artwork at a pedestrian level, something like that, and then we can work on that, independently. We definitely, I think that we can achieve that.
Wonderful,
All right.
wonderful. Thank you.
And I don't know if in regards to the city, if there's anybody in particular you have any that, we can work with as far as getting that approved, because sometimes, as you might know, when you come to, it might not be allowed because it's within the setback boundary, so, but we might need to somehow get some approval for that. Okay.
Yeah, we got connections.
They're right behind you. There they are.
I'm done. Oh, I'm still on.
Can we answer any more questions?
Everybody's good? This is a public hearing. Does anybody have anything to say for or against this? Please, come up to the stage, state your name and address.
How you doing, guys? Everybody knows who I am. Gunnar Magliacca, 317 Southeast 4th Terrace. These seem like nice people. We got another building going up. You guys are asking the right questions, I believe, looking out for us, the colors, Lori, the name of the city, AJ. But every developer that comes up here, they get approved. They get past the first 3/4 of the step, and then they come up here the night of approval and ask for another 7 stories. It is getting a little old, and hopefully we stop approving the extra 7 for every building.
Thank you, Ms. Maglioka. Any other comments from the public? Okay. Motion, do I have a motion?
on, I just want to clarify that the elements that you brought out, that Lori brought out, that before this goes to vote, that those are going to be actually implemented and that we're not just.
So if you would like, you could add a condition number 9 to section 5, where all of the conditions that staff has put in. And at section 9, you could say that the developer work on an art piece at the ground level to document Dania Beach as the location of the hotel.
Okay.
And work on getting
And
signage on the building as well.
And work on
Signage,
getting
Signage,
corporate approval
Yeah.
for signage at the hotel.
and they're open for landscaping.
Whoa.
Right.
For signage on
she's the attorney.
hotel
That's why I didn't want to vote before.
as to Dania Beach. Okay,
Okay, now make
Yeah.
a motion to approve.
with that modification.
Can I just ask for a clarification on that?
Please.
I think the issue with Mr. Aristorza is what he understood was he doesn't think he'll be able to get corporate approval for the signage, like Dania Beach next to Embassy Suites. He said that he would work with the staff to have a ground level artwork incorporating the city of Dania Beach on it.
Well, you're gonna ask corporate though, right?
So I think he can do that. I think
Yeah.
he can do that.
On the second part, it's that you're going to ask corporate, not that you're required to as a condition of approval.
Okay, all right.
So if you can get it from hotel, from corporate,
Yeah,
then
at their approval.
we'd ask that it would be put in. The chances are probably no.
Okay,
The first part will be a requirement, the second one is an ask.
Wonderful. Okay, I had a motion from Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Salvino.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Oh, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Davis, Commissioner James,
No.
Commissioner Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1.
Would you like me to read section, resolution number 2?
Resolution 2, please, Eve.
A resolution of the City Commission approving the request submitted by City Place Apartments Limited, the property owner, for a site plan modification and design variation for the property located at 75 Park Avenue West in the city of Dania Beach, and approving a lift station easement and operating agreement at the property located at 49 Park Avenue East in the city of Dania Beach, providing for conflicts and an effective date. And before, I already swore everybody in for the last meeting, but if there's anyone here to be testifying as to this item who has not already been sworn in, please raise your right hand and swear. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, are there any disclosures for this application?
Yes, I spoke with Miss Amelia and Francisco yesterday at City Hall.
And can you be impartial after those communications?
Yes.
Thank you. Next. Anyone else?
Not me.
Commissioner Salvino?
I had a question for you before we start on this particular. It had to do with the last one, but I waited till it was over because it was already in there. But back when Mayor James was on the dais as the mayor, something was brought up about, we were talking about the incentives, and I remember the incentives. There was a discussion on changing the ordinance on giving those away. Did whatever happened to that?
That's part of the new rack units. So the incentives would be discussed as part of the new rack units, is what I understand, and changing those.
So
Right.
okay, so only in the rack, and it's not a hotel.
The residential portion, if you want to look at everything, that could be an option as well.
Okay, I guess that was the confusion because I knew that we talked about it before. Nothing got followed up. Okay, thank you.
We're still in the process of making amendments to some of those incentives. And as we had talked about before, we're looking at, raising the bar, increasing some of the incentives instead of just asking someone to obtain sustainable building practices or LEED certification. maybe we ask them to do a gold certification just instead of just the entry level bronze. I think there's some adjustments to like the park payment in lieu of public parks because it was written in 2010 and we haven't made those adjustments based on market value. So we can go back, and that's what we're planning to do, is go back and make those adjustments, raising the bar, making the developers reach a little harder, a little bit higher for those incentives coming forward. But the incentives that were just approved on that hotel were to enable them to grow the building in height. It had nothing to do with the units because we're at 0 with units. And a hotel doesn't use units, or residential units.
Commissioner James?
Yes, I spoke with Mr. Mealy.
And can you remain impartial after those communications?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes, I spoke with Mr. Mealy as well, and I can remain impartial. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good evening. Corinne LaJoy, Assistant Director in Community Development. This is an application for a site plan modification for the property at 75 Park Avenue West. We can go to the next slide, which shows the aerial photo of the property. It is right just south of City Hall, immediately south of the City Hall parking garage. Next slide. We talk about some of the project background. This is a site plan modification. So in March of this year, the City Commission did approve the site plan for this project, but at that time it had a mixed income and mixed use project. It was 8 stories, 110 units. It had 2,500 square feet of commercial on the ground floor, as well as a parking garage and on-street parking. The property originally consisted of 5 parcels that the developer has since assembled, which is how we have one consolidated property address at this time. It was also funded in part by the City of Dania Beach through the Florida Housing Finance Corporation of Local Government Verification and Contribution Loan Form, and that's something that was talked about earlier on this agenda, was amendments to the loan because the unit count is going to be adjusted with the site plan modification. Originally, it was expected that the majority of the units would be reserved for individuals making 80% or less of the Broward County AMI. If we go to the next slide, one of the first things, part of this application is design variation that is being requested. And this is to allow the building to be placed at 10 feet instead of the 8 feet as the code requires. But this is only for floors 3 to 8. So the base of the building will be at the proper placement. It's just as you get higher up on the building that there's some movement in that building. The provision of the Land Development Code ensures that very tall buildings are set back in those upper levels in order to maintain light and air movement and prevent an overly bulky building. The applicant identified how their requests are consistent with the design variation criteria in the Land Development Code, and that analysis is in the staff report. The next request as part of the site plan modification is the establishment of the lift station. As it went through DRC, it was determined that a lift station was necessary for the project, but because it's an urban form-based building, it really maximized the site and there was no room left for this mechanical equipment. So the only viable location for the installation was on the adjacent property, which is owned by the City of Dania Beach. This equipment will be located at the southwest corner of the City Hall parking garage site. It will be tucked in right next to some existing mechanical equipment, so it won't be the only thing hanging out there. It'll kind of be tucked away with other equipment in that corner. The next slide is where I tried to summarize the changes that you'll see with this site plan modification. The applicant's is proposing to remove 11 units from the original 110 that were approved. And those 11 units are going to be the market rate units that they're asking to remove. So the remaining 99 units will all be the affordable housing component of the project. They're also proposing alternative parking standards as part of the project. And the incentives that they had originally proposed for the building height and the density was payment of public parks. And they're now asking to change that to sustainable building practices. The City Place will continue to have the same number of affordable units as previously, which is 99. And no market rate units will be provided under these revised plans. Those are the units that they're reducing the project by. The next slide is where I discuss the alternative parking standards that are being proposed by the applicant. According to the ITE parking generation manual, it indicates that this type of project would require 130 parking spaces, where our land development code requires 182. The applicant is proposing 140 parking spaces, so more than the ITE, but less than the land development code. So they've been able to identify that perhaps the code asks for too many parking spaces, and they've also justified that the location of the project being in the downtown near a lot of Broward bus transit routes, that there's other parking or transit opportunities available for the project. Therefore, the demand for the parking can be reduced. And this is incorporated into the site plan. So if the site plan is approved as proposed, this alternative parking standard would also be approved. And incidentally, as a result of the reduced number of units and the alternative parking study, they no longer need to utilize the parking agreement for the city parking garage. But that was also another item on the agenda this evening. The next slide talks about the site plan modifications, and here is where we talk about the rack units. They are reducing their project by 11 units. So those will be returned to the rack count and will be available for future development. The incentives I had spoken to previously, they're no longer proposing the public park incentive, but they are proposing the sustainable building practices that will earn them the 14 dwelling units. There is a parking impact study that was submitted as part of the DRC review. It was updated in September and has been approved by the city's traffic consultant. And they did do additional community outreach prior to this item for the site plan modification on October 19th, where one property owner did attend. The next slide talks about some additional items included in the site plan modification and related to green space improvements. The applicant has agreed to post a bond to the benefit of the city for or confirmation of a cash escrow in the amount of $150,000 for improvements as described here, which include removal of the surface parking lot south of the City Hall, between City Hall and the City Hall parking garage, removal of the existing solar-powered lights that are there and replacing them with the decorative lighting consistent with the lighting that's surrounding the fountain at our City Hall site. These improvements are not, if they're not implemented and prior to the issuance of the final certificate of occupancy, then the city can retain those funds and implement those improvements itself. And these improvements will be adding additional green space to the city's total capacity. This is a condition that's written into the resolution. So if you approve the resolution tonight, this will be included in that.
If I can interrupt for one moment, in the dais, you'll see an amendment to the resolution at 9.2 as just a clarification of that language as to the 150,000, that the applicant pay the 150 to the city and the city does the work, or it could do the bond and or the retainer of the 150,000 with the city.
If we can go to the next slide, Monica. The site plan modification application was reviewed by the Development Review Committee in September and again in October of this year. And the Development Review Committee includes personnel from VSO Fire, Public Services, the city's landscape consultant, and Community Development Planning Division. There were several outstanding staff comments that must be addressed prior to the issuance of the permit. They're identified in the resolution, so should the resolution be approved, they will be conditions of approval. The applicant is aware of that and is able to address those comments before that issuance of the permit. The next slide. Here I show a rendering, and I don't have a pointer. I'm sorry, a rendering of the site plan at the ground level. And one of the reasons I included is because in the upper left-hand corner you see the location of that new lift station that's integrated. It is hard to see, but where the bubbles are where the changes are made to the site plan. So there was the unit count changed, so too did some of the parking layout because they no longer needed as much parking for those units. The next slide, Monica, is a elevation rendering of the building itself that's being proposed with the changes. The next slide is where we talk about budgetary impacts, and the project will be expanding the city's tax roll and will require payment of the following impact fees associated with the development, and that includes the public art up to the $250,000, Parks and Recreation fee. It is a residential project, so they'll have to pay into that park and rec fee, $135,000. $36, as well as a Regional Activity Center Transportation Impact Fee of $829.14. And with that, staff is recommending approval of the resolution for the design variation, the lift station easement, and the site plan modification, provided that the remaining DRC comments are made of conditions of approval, which must be addressed prior to the issuance of the building permit. And I'm available for questions if the commission has any, and I know the applicant has a presentation and their team's here as well to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Commissioner James.
Yes, it's for Corinne, I guess, more than anyone else, because this has already kind of been approved. You either want more units or not more units. That's how I kind of view it. But what does the RAC transportation funds go towards? I don't know if I've seen that.
So it is when the original Regional Activity Center application went through the county, that was one of the things that they said, well, all these units may have additional transportation impacts, and therefore there should be a fund to help pay for some of those impacts that occur as a result of the units, or yeah, I think they are tied to units as a result of the units. And so we established this fund that's based on, I think it's $21.26 per trip, and it's assessed in the Regional Activity Center. And I believe we gave that fund to the county then for implementation.
Well, we're giving this money to the county?
Yeah.
Why? Now, who does that? Why?
They're the county engineer, so they're responsible for regional transportation improvement.
Can we change that? Because we can give bus passes to individuals that we can have our own programs here with our own residents. We give impact fees to the county a lot. We give school impact fees to the county. Our schools don't see those funds. They divvy it up how they want to divvy it up with the county. Why? County?
I don't think it's something that you can get back. I think it's a conversation you can have with the county, inquiring where those improvements are being made and how they're being implemented in the region.
Yeah, I definitely want to have that conversation to ensure. I mean, we have developments that are coming up. If they're going to pay into something, I want to see a return on our monies for our city and our residents. So that was my question.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Mr. Mealy, yeah, please give your presentation.
Thank you. Dennis Mealy, 200 East Broward Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, on behalf of the applicant. And if Monica is still back there, I think we have some slides. So while we're pulling that up, this, as was mentioned earlier, this plan was approved in March. So the net result of this site plan amendment is returning 11 units back to the RAC pool that we don't need by reducing from 110 down to 99. And well, here we have the slides. Monica, would you go to the next one, please? So there you see our building superimposed over the area around us. And you notice we have no gray, we have white, we have tan, and we have light blue. Anyway, it's the same height as the building was before. The building footprint is a little bit smaller by eliminating the 11 units. But basically it's the same as we had before. If we can go to the next slide, please. And that's just another view of the building from another perspective. We go to the next one. And there's our location. There were a couple of items on the consent agenda. One of them was to dedicate 3 feet for Third Avenue, which you approved earlier tonight, which we will be doing. The other one was to eliminate the parking agreement that was approved in March, where we were going to have some of our parking in your garage. But once we eliminated the 11 units, we were able to put all of our parking on site and not need to use any in your garage any longer. And then, of course, item 9.2, which we have now, is the site plan amendment. So basically the same plan we had before, 11 fewer units, same building height, a little bit smaller footprint. If you have any questions other than that, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you very much. By the way, I have found in the past that when I try to be persuasive, people usually remain objective.
Any questions? This is a public hearing. Does anybody have anything to say to, for, or against this?
I have a second? Second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Oh, all right, I'll call roll for this one. Clerk, please call roll.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you.
Would you like me to read item number 3?
Please, Eve, read item number 3.
A resolution approving the site plan and variances for the property owner Hydro Source Corp. For property located at 3581 Southwest 26th Terrace in the city of Dania Beach, providing for conditions, conflicts, and an effective date. This item is to be continued. It is a community development item. It's going to be continued to the January 10th meeting. Could you please open up the public hearing just to hear? if
This is a
anybody-
public hearing. Does anybody have anything to say for or against this?
Make a motion, we put past 9.3 till to be continued.
Motion to continue. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Yeah, no roll call on that one. Okay. Okay, for no discussion and possible action, so we'll move to commission comments. Commissioner Davis?
Long tonight. Oh, sorry.
You're on.
All right, thank you, Mayor, and good evening. I will try to keep this short because I don't think I can remember all the events that I've gone to over the past, but I will start with pre-Thanksgiving staff and employee luncheon by Human Resources and Linda. What a phenomenal job you did with the coffee and celebrating for the holidays, for the Thanksgiving holiday. It was really a wonderful event with lots of sweets, and kudos to Claudia and her decorating skills for making such a wonderful holiday event for Thanksgiving. Let's see, the next thing I did was I sponsored the Art Basel, First Presence in Art Basel. And while you always learn when you attend something for the first time, I think it's so important to be able to put Dania Beach on an international stage at Art Basel, to be able to take one of our public art board members, Kyla, who's also Miss Dania Beach, to be able to pass out the kindness buttons, to be able to tell people with the QR code to go and visit our city. It really starts to put us on the map and on an international level with thousands of people coming from around the country. So we can always make it better. We can always have a bigger presence, but I think we need to start thinking outside of Dania Beach and having a presence outside of Dania Beach to really bring some more attention to our city. Secondly, and I think this is going to be my last one. No, almost. We sponsored the Climate Leadership Summit, and that conference was just phenomenal. It was there. We were there with the thought leaders in resiliency, making our communities resilient. The amount of innovations that are coming out of there. We had 4 counties that all collaborated: Monroe County, Miami-Dade County, Palm Beach County, Broward County, and we were the host this year. Thank you to Corinne and Eleanor and Colin for showing up at that conference and lending your expertise. What we know is that, to me, a lot of different things came out, which I will probably talk with Maxine and get with our administration about. And thank you to the mayor for attending the mayor's portion of that climate, because we do need to have a seat at the table. That is something that came up. We need to have a seat at the table. And again, when you have all these counties collaborating and you find out the latest in climate change and sustainability, we need to have a presence there and we need to have a seat there. The other thing that came up was the need, I believe, which I will advocate for next budget, is a CRO, a Chief Resiliency Officer, somebody who can be a liaison between the community development, public services, the county. Maybe the mayor wants to take that on, I don't know, but somebody needs to be at the table making sure that we have municipal agreements and understanding of what their policies are, because right now Hollywood has put in $440,000 of their ARPA funds to fortify their seawalls, and we're right next to them. So if they're doing something, we're not doing it. We're doing something there. Fort Lauderdale's not doing it. We need to have that collaboration and that linchpin and somebody there at the table. And community development has their hands full, as you can see from tonight. So I want to be able to advocate for a position or something that we address that issue on a larger scale. And lastly, I attended the Historical Society's first holiday party at the Lions Club. I absolutely love that group of people. They have, Joanna's done such a fantastic job leading and guiding and putting them out there beyond, putting them at Dania Point, having so many plans that are going to move them forward. So congratulations to the Historical Society, and congratulations to Bo and Mimi once again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner James?
Yes, we would like to thank Parks and Recreation for their help with the Tamara James Foundation Thanksgiving Drive. That was first and foremost. I'm not sure if I publicly thanked you all for your amazing input, as well as BSO. We were able to give, oh my gosh, a lot of turkeys to a lot of people, a lot of residents in our city. And I also want to congratulate and thank our Parks and Recreation again on such a phenomenal holiday tree lighting ceremony that we had. It just gets bigger and better. I don't think that you can outdo it, and then you guys outdo it. And so I think it was genius. The way you set up the stage, the way we just shifted things around and created a lot more space and opportunity. And I can just appreciate where you guys are taking our parks and recreation. It started from the fall festival, and then you guys just wowed us with the holiday tree lighting. And there's always stuff that we can learn from. Make sure we have good generators. But other than that, I was just completely blown away with the magnitude of that event. I I was approached. It was very, very strange. Someone called my phone, and I think I met them at City Hall. I forgot that I even had that meeting because it didn't come through the proper channels as it usually does with Maxine. But we have a new furniture store, an African furniture store called Akiba. It is where Tesla used to be, and they had their grand opening a few nights ago. Uh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful solid wood pieces from Gabon, Africa. I invited him here tonight. He will be traveling back to Dubai. They're stationed in Dubai. So I look forward to having them do some work here with the city and introducing him to everyone around. And lastly, I was able to stop by the Nike outlet, the Nike clearance store grand opening and ribbon cutting, and they had people sleeping in their cars for 2 days for that ribbon cutting. It was all last minute for all of us. I was able to hop in my car and go there, and the line was the there was already a line. I went inside, and when they opened those doors, it was like one of those sweepstakes, those grocery sweepstakes. Grab as many things as you can. And when they told me they had been there for 2 days, sitting in their cars and sleeping in their cars and not wanting to give up their spaces, I just thought, oh my gosh, like this has been amazing. And so um, I enjoyed it. I look forward to continuing to grow um, Dania Point and Dania Beach. I'm not sure, is Sados going to have a grand opening? Is Sados open, correct? I, I know they've been up, and I think maybe we should, our CRA should reach out to them and try to do a grand opening, because they've been open, but I haven't heard much about it. I don't know if the community knows that they're open. It would be great to get that out. I don't know, Katya, if you can reach out to them and see if they want to have a grand opening or what we can do. But I think anytime there's an opportunity to promote one of our businesses, especially in Dania Point, because what Dania Point has done for our city has definitely been amazing. I think that would be awesome. And happy holidays to everyone. Please be safe. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas and all those other holidays that you all celebrate. And Happy New Year.
Thank you, Commissioner James. Commissioner Salvino?
Thank you. I don't have a lot to say, right? I'm surprised you girls missed it, or I missed it, but 4 out of 5 of us, we were at the REACH program at Folsom. And sorry, Lori, I mean, I know you were in court, but that REACH program, Mayor did a good job up there, doing a talk on the OJ McDuffie Day. They came in by helicopter. All the students were impressed. They had free barbecue that he paid for, and it was great barbecue. I got to tell you, it was a nice job that they've started over there with the school. They've done landscaping inside that's been donated by various places, and now along with the money that you all gave, the $7,000 out of contention to help the school try to redo their walls and redo the gym and stuff like that. I think it's just a start. I think it'll catch on with a lot of other people out there. Work on some developers as well, because I know Ms. Sharabi is very involved. I'm sure her husband, with the developer, and other developers they connect with, will help the school out. And it's in desperate need. I took a walk around or something, but I just wanted to, tell you it was inspiring, and I got my special recognition because I did go to Olson back in the day, and yeah, but I was there first. But anyhow, huh? Shh. So that being said, the other thing is, the Christmas holiday tree lighting was amazing. It came a long way from when it first started, and I was very, very happy to see the people there having a great time. It was packed, and it was packed. It was a phenomenal event, and that's some of the reasons why we're talking about the city putting on certain events. But it was a great job that was done. Other than that, I have one request, and I'm gonna ask the commission. How do you guys feel about moving these off now?
I'm all for it.
So I'd like to ask your approval to have it removed. Is that okay?
If it doesn't cost too much money.
City manager, can you have this taken down, please?
What I can do is I can get a quote and then I'll let you know, but certainly, I think.
I can untake them down myself.
Yeah. We can make it happen.
Okay, thank
We
you.
can make it happen.
And the last thing is happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all the Hanukkah and all those things as well. And New Year's to everybody. Please be happy, healthy, and safe, and treat your kids and spoil them, because you never know. So there you go. I'm done.
Thank you, Commissioner Salvino. Vice Mayor Llewellyn, let's hear from you. All right.
Yes. Okay. So mine should be fairly short because I've been in trial for the last couple of weeks and just finished yesterday. So I haven't been able to go to too many things. But I did win. So congratulations. So let's see. The tree lighting was spectacular. People who normally don't even come out to our events were at that event and really enjoyed it, and now want to come back to more events. So kudos to Parks and Rec. It's a fabulous job. And we got to see Cassie's new baby because she brought the baby, the little 2-week-old. Very, very cute. And I can't believe that she just had a baby. You would never know it. Anyway, let's see what else. I did stop by the Lighthouse Church Thanksgiving dinner. They were passing out to people, hot meals to people. They actually had to start early because the line was down the street, and they gave out something like 300 or 400 hot meals in a very short period of time. So it's always a really good event. They did a really great job. So appreciate their work with that. I also wanted to say congratulations to one of our local rabbis, Rabbi Eckstein, who he and his wife just had a baby. And let me see. One thing, because I was a little distracted this last couple of weeks. I didn't get something on the discussion and possible action list, but this is just something I want to throw out there to y'all. Um, we have a resident who is a music promoter. Does a lot of blues and national and international groups that go to different locations, and he promotes them in the South Florida area primarily. But he works all over the place. He approached me because he's looking to get a grant from a company called, I'm trying to pull it up here, the Levitt Foundation, that does grants for blues festivals with small cities. That would be us. He would really like to partner with the city of Dania Beach to do this. The grant would basically cover most of the expenses. The only thing that we might need to help provide with would have to do with like police, security, that sort of thing. Not a significant amount, because the grant would, if he gets the grant, he doesn't even know if he's getting the grant. But if he gets the grant, that would be something he would do. It would be basically a 3-day event with 2 days of blues artists coming in and playing in the city of Dania Beach, and with the first day being the day that everybody registers, and they would all be staying in our hotels, shopping in our stores, eating in our restaurants, going to places and spending their money throughout the city, and putting basically Dania Beach again on the map for another reason. We do have a lot of local musicians who I know go to these festivals. There was one up in the Niagara Falls area very recently, and like a large number of people went to that. They've done them in some other cities. The closest one I think to us that's doing this is, I think, which one is it? Fort Pierce. Fort Pierce, yes. So it's not like there's other places that are local to Broward County that are doing this. So it would be something unique. And anyway, so all he has asked is that if we could support this idea, and perhaps we could write a letter, maybe from the city manager, saying that it's something that the city would support and be interested in, then he can use that in his application for the grant. And he has indicated that he's gotten grants like this in the past for other projects. It usually helps when you have the city's support behind you. It definitely makes a difference. So I just wanted to throw it out there and see if I could get consensus to give him the support for this.
So we have to provide a venue and, security.
Well, I don't have all of the expenses, but it's minimal. The grant literally would pay for the artists to come, because there's artists that some of them are internationally known.
Okay.
It pays for that. It pays for where they'll all stay. It pays for, let me see, hold on a second, I've got a whole thing here. Pays for the talent, the staging, the sound, hotels. They would need from the city would be the space. He said hopefully right on the street that is used for Dania After Dark, because he's seen that. He was aware of our doing an arts and entertainment district, and he'd like to be a part of that. So that's why he was suggesting that area. He said would also need necessary police for street security. They would have their own security hired for stage and backstage. That would not be something we'd have to cover. That would be their own. They would also need the availability of the parking garage. Yeah, so that's
So it would have to be here if they need the parking garage.
yeah. I mean, that's his idea is to do it in the same location as Dania After Dark.
Okay.
So, and like I said, it would be, I mean, people would be staying. They'd be staying in the city for 3 days, basically, for this event. So, it would definitely it would be a nice little economic boost, I think, to the city as a whole. And again, it would be something that it would be promoted as Dania Beach. It would not be Fort Lauderdale. It would not be Hollywood. It would be Dania Beach. So, which I thought was a kind of a cool thing. So anyway, so that's he like I said, he's not looking for anything right now except just to have the support of the commission, so that he can utilize that to go and apply for the grant. And then, I'm sure he'd be happy to give us more information. But the company that does the grants, or the foundation that does the grants, is the Levitt Foundation. It's Levitt Foundation. And they apparently give out these grants. Let me see. The only other cities in Florida, I've got Ocala, Florida, Fort Pierce. That's it in Florida. So we would be the only South Florida venue. So just thought I'd throw it out there, see if I could perhaps get consensus so that we could have a letter written saying that we're at least interested in it, and then see what comes of it. If he doesn't get the grant, it's a moot point. But if he does get the grant, it's definitely something that would be, I think, a big positive for the city. So, thoughts? Anybody?
Commissioner James?
Yes, I'm in support of it. I'm wondering if this isn't something that they could possibly partner with the CRA and do something with.
They want the actual. They want the support of the whole city.
No,
So,
that's fine.
yeah.
I think we can do both. I think that, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like I've signed on to things as the mayor and did not have consensus for everyone. So even if you wanted to sign on as, the vice mayor, although I mean I have the consensus to do it, but I'm just trying to think of ways that it's not like we're giving to one person, but we're partnering with that
Well, I mean,
organization.
yeah, I mean, I know the individual well from my business. So, because he has, I mean, I've dealt with him, so I know who he is. He's a resident. He's a neighbor of mine as well. And I don't necessarily want to partner myself, but I think it's something that would be good for the city as a whole, and I think it would definitely bring more attention to us. And I just, it's not. He brought it to me because he knows me. So, I'm perfectly fine with sharing it with everybody. I just think it's just something I think it says a lot if we all agree to it, or the majority of us agree to it, and put it forth that way. And then this way we can write a nice letter that says that the commission actually discussed it and voted on it and thought it was a great idea.
I mean, he has my support for that portion of it. I think we can make it bigger and better if we partner afterwards.
Any other comments? No, yeah, it has my support as well. I think, we're talking about increasing our events and improving them, and this would be another reason to have us, an event in downtown. And I'm a fan of blues music as well. So, and I think it would bring a lot of people from all over. If you said the closest place has been is Fort Pierce, and it'll definitely bring a lot more folks out from the surrounding community. But yeah, this is just the beginning. He has to get the grant, but definitely has my support.
And
It's
if he gets
interesting.
and if he gets the grant, it would turn into potentially an annual thing. So they tend to get bigger over time. So
If I may, Commissioner, Vice Mayor, through the mayor, Eve and I will look to research the foundation just to make sure everything's kosher. It's the Levitt Foundation.
Levitt,
The Levitt?
Levitt.
And so we have to provide a 2-day event like a Saturday and Sunday. I think it would be a really good idea for the city to partner with the CRA. So this is a good opportunity. So Parks and Rec can work with the CRA together, and we could do like a theme Dana After Dark and do the Saturday component with the blues thing, and then they need a Sunday afternoon event too, right? So it's a like a special Dana After Dark Saturday edition, and then we do the Sunday, and we do it collectively as a team with a theme, and start planning it way in advance and really see where we could go with this. But it could be a really good opportunity to work together. So thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you. And with
Is there a
that,
deadline on the letter?
it didn't really say.
Or can you
I
put
know
me
that
in contact with the gentleman?
I'll send you all the information.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, it's he has to apply for the grant, I think, by February.
Okay.
So I know it's coming up, but it wouldn't be probably. It would be a little while before the event would even take place. I don't even have the details as to
Oh,
that
okay,
yet.
perfect.
So, but it's just very early on, and I just wanted to bring it forward because I thought it was a fantastic idea, and I know Jim. He's good at what he does. So I know that he would do a great job of promoting and doing the whole thing with it. Um, the foundation's out of California. So, but I'll send you all the information so you have it. And with that, I just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. I'm terribly sorry I missed the Kwanzaa event. I did want to come. I usually do go to it. I just was stuck in Miami in trial. So, but in any event, have a wonderful holiday. Happy New Year to everybody, and we'll see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, I'll try and be brief. I know this meeting's been a little extended. So yeah, first of all, right away, I got to know Eric Brown and, Parks and Rec. Cassie, I met her at the tree lighting and, but Eric Brown, he's the knowledge of wealth when it comes to this. He's a good guy to talk to, coached by Larry Little, so, that guy's like a hero to me. But yeah, what they did with the tree lighting and our police and fire, in our police force and our firefighters, phenomenal job, and that was my first like really big event as the mayor of Dania, and I felt welcomed, and not everybody got to go up on stage, but when you were up on stage, it was a sight to see. It was really something. It was wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, I went to attend the Kwanzaa event also. Mr. Brown did a wonderful job there also, and AMP, you guys, it was special, and it showed us how a community comes together. And I think we taught a couple people, a few lessons about Kwanzaa that evening as well. Yeah, I attended the climate summit as well for the mayors, and it was very, very interesting. And it touched a lot of subjects that I deal with, in the personal sector with insurance and real estate, and it really touched on our city, being a coastal city with climate change and what affects us. And got a lot of good insight on a macro view, and it was nice to speak to them as a individual mayor for a coastal city that has a huge effect on Broward County. So yeah, Chanukah is actually at Dania Point on December 20th. Everybody can come out. We'll be lighting the menorah then. And my first proclamation as mayor was at Olson, and it was for OJ McDuffie. And like I grew up watching this guy play football. Third most receptions from Dan Marino besides Duper and Clayton. I should read the proclamation right now, but I won't. But December 1st is OJ McDuffie Day in Dania Beach. Okay, everybody remember that. We do a lot of proclamations for days, and everybody forgets them, but I won't forget that one. And and it's great what we did with the REACH program. It's nice to learn more about it. And Commissioner Salvino pushed us all to donate money to just to show that program what it really deserves. And they're doing a great job. So let's see here. I also, as a team, we attended the Hollywood Commission, and I was introduced as new mayor of Dania in front of the Hollywood Commission. They unanimously voted in the first reading for that annexation of 0.2 acres, to get our parking garage established. And they're very welcoming, and they were supportive, and they were happy to see us at their meetings. So it's good. We should attend more meetings of Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, Davie, and maybe they'll start coming to ours. And you never know when you need something from our sister cities now. And so I see a long relationship with them, and it's good negotiation. The mayor of Dania is a real estate agent, the mayor of Hollywood's a car salesman, so it doesn't get any better than that. We can do a lot of deals together. He's also a lawyer, yeah, I guess, but he's more of a car salesman. But so on a serious note, I've been working with the city attorney on this, and I put our deputy city attorney John on it right away, like my first day on the job, and it's something that touches me. We have a lot of derelict boats in our waterways. Everybody talks about Dania Beach, how beautiful it is, and our new marina. Just go a little further north into Whiskey Creek, and you'll see a lot of derelict boats in there, and it's a big legal issue, and I commend you for tackling it head on, and John also, and we have a lot to deal with, but this is an issue, not just with our city, but with other cities. Hollywood has a huge problem over that at North Beach Park over there, just south of Sheridan Street. I mean, just north of Sheridan Street in the water. And, these boats are a threat to our environment. They're a threat to public safety. And, it needs to be addressed. It's a big issue. The county controls the waterway. It's a city issue also. It's, Army Corps of Engineers, state, the Navy gets involved. But, we're going to put our good foot forward, and I have a lot of confidence in Eve. And, we're going to be a beacon of light for other cities to show them how to get rid of these boats and tackle it the right way. And, if it takes us, spending a little bit of money out of our city fund to just, kick somebody in the butt to get them going, then I'm all for that. And I just want to put that out there that this is definitely an issue that needs to be addressed. So other than that, I've been mayor for about a month now, and definitely crash course, hit the ground running. I've learned a wealth of knowledge, and all of you have been very welcoming. Our city has taken leaps, and we've really seen what it's done in the last 2 years. And we still got a lot of work to do, though. A lot of work left, and I have confidence in my team. My team of commissioners, my city team. I have confidence that we're going to still propel this city in the right direction, while preserving the integrity and character of our city. And like I said, we have the 120th year anniversary coming up. We're going to start paying more attention to our history, our roots, and while still focusing on propelling ourselves into the future. So with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy holidays to all. And I look forward to working as the mayor of Dania Beach for the next 2 years. And, I'm sure next Christmas is going to come before we know it. But, just think of how much we're going to accomplish in the next 12 months. And I'm very excited, very excited. So, yes, thank you, everybody. We can move on. So for item 12, we have appointments. Okay, no appointments from Vice Mayor Llewellyn. I have all my appointments in line. It's in another book. All right. Okay. I'll go down the line. 1 second. Okay, we start with the Education Advisory Board. So for the Education Advisory Board, I would like to appoint Patricia Silva. For the Green Advisory Board, I appoint Michael Porter. For the Marine Advisory Board, I appoint Gregory Ralston. Parks and Rec, I appoint Sage Maglioka. And for Planning and Zoning Board, I appoint Morris Vaughn Stowers. And I believe that's all my appointments.
Yes.
For the alternates on P and Z,
The alternate, is a commission group decision on the alternates, whether they want to keep the current alternates or replace them. It's up to them. You all, I mean, as a group.
okay, well, we don't have to decide that right now. Who are two current alternates for Planning and Zoning?
Charlotte Sloboda and Daniel Sohn are the current alternates. Well,
So we
that's
need another
interesting
alternate.
to know. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, duly noted.
Does anybody have, Commissioner James?
Yes, I would like to appoint Kim Ford as an alternate.
I second. I'm in consensus with Mayor James on that one. Kim Ford. Okay, perfect.
Kimberly Ford.
Great woman.
And do you want to keep Charlotte Laboda or not? Is there
Okay, now all I
consensus?
need is a motion.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, for item 13, administrative reports.
No, I would like to make a motion to approve the appointments.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So now for administrative reports, City Manager.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I want to thank all the, our city team that participated in the climate summit. It was truly fantastic, and they came back extremely excited. I met at length with our Deputy City Manager, Candido Sosa Cruz, who is setting up meetings with the city of Miami Beach and the resiliency team, as well as the city of Fort Lauderdale. We're really good friends with both Manager Greg Chavarria and Manager Alina Hudak in Miami Beach. We are looking to form our own team and have some money set aside for a consultant. But that's something that's extremely important to us as a city that borders the water, as a coastal city. Um, Congratulations to everyone, both in the administration, the mayor, our former vice mayor, and all of you, and our city attorney, to be able to make it happen with the city of Hollywood. Thank you, Candido, for your work with the deputy city manager over there. So that's a giant step moving forward. In addition to that, Candido and myself and Eve will be meeting with the FAU team on Thursday. Because in the meantime, we would like to use that surface parking that's there. That's really not very much used by them, to be able to do something in the short term while we prepare for the long-term game plan, which will be the parking garage. Kudos to Parks and Recreation, really, for that wonderful event. You know, I remember when I met Eric Brown back in March of 2019, one of the things we talked about is it starts in parks. And then fast forward to the support of this commission and how you made community building and community events a priority. And boy, they are delivering like the postman. And so one of the things that we're doing, Eric, myself, Cassie, Candido, after every event we meet and we do a post-event assessment. One of the things that we're creating in Parks and Recreation is a division of special events. And we're going to continue to invest in our special events and in the education and training of those individuals. And they're going to be special events that are just going to be put together by Parks and Recreation. But then there's going to be special events where Parks and Rec will still lead, but we'll have the rest of the city working with us, like the second annual employee picnic that we delivered last year, like the second annual State of the City address, like we delivered last year. So we made a promise to you that when we represent Dania Beach, is going to be a first class act, and we're going to continue to augment and enhance all those events for the greater good of our community. We also wanted to let you know that we are 90% complete with the beautiful landscaping project on the Griffin corridor. And I just want to remind everybody that that is totally paid by FDOT. We've learned to knock on doors, be it in Tallahassee, be it FDOT, be it in Hollywood, and we're going to make things happen. Just like our team of Eleanor and Candido and Corinne met with the folks from City Place, and all of a sudden we're going to have an additional city park, and that parking space that we have in a half-empty parking lot now will be in addition to our green space that will really enhance our events. So we're really excited about that. Our pier project is a two-tier pier project that it's going to really be tremendous. Multi-million-dollar project that will be completed next year because it's in 2 different fiscal years. And we're extremely happy about that. We could not have done it without the support and the help from our public services team. And they are just doing a fantastic job with our project. We couldn't have completed all in one phase because then that would mean closing the pier. We're working on the lights. And again, our pier is one of our best resources along with our beach. We're already planning to really do the best event we've ever done, working with you and with our team as we celebrate Broward's First City's 120th anniversary. Mayor, by the way, I'm done with that first book. So when you're ready to give me the next book, I'm extremely excited. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and 2023. You ain't seen nothing yet. Thank you, and it's an honor for me to work with all of you.
Eve, our city attorney.
Good evening, everyone. I'll keep it short because it is getting late. We're looking at bringing first reading of the interlocal agreement for the annexation to the January 10th meeting. So we're moving forward. On that note, thank you all for your support. It's been wonderful this past year. It's actually, I think, the end of the 3rd of January will be a year that I'm your city attorney. So I truly appreciate all of the support. And happy holidays. I'm taking my dad. He had a bucket list for his 80th to go to Australia. So I'm taking my dad to Australia. I'm leaving Monday afternoon, and John will be around in case I'm not. And I look forward to seeing everybody in the new year.
Thank you, Eve. Mr. Snyder?
Thank you, Mayor. If I may, before I get to the reminders, I would like to recommend that we discontinue using hybrid commission meetings. There would be a cost savings, including staff time and legal advertisements. Moreover, most Broward cities have discontinued using a virtual component to their meetings. I just wanted to bounce this off of you all. Very good, thank you. Okay, meeting reminders, Tuesday, January 10 at 2023 at 5:30 is your CRA board meeting, followed by your regular city commission meeting at 7 p.m. That's all I have, and happy holidays to you all.
Thank you all. Meeting adjourned.